Hello everyone, I'm theloladass and I'll bring you here Dear Althea for PC. So this game came out on Friday, but only recording now because there was some bugs, and the developer were trying to fix them. And I think it's two parts that they released. They say that the first patch that came out, they say to reload the full game because of adding the bug fixing and other stuff on the game because of the engine that they use. It's not that simple, so you needed to download the game, but in this new patch you don't need that. So that's cool, but it is what it is. Some engines are different from other ones because it's a visual novel, but it was like visual novel engine or something like that. Maker, which is weird. I see visual novel maker now too. So this game is developed and published by Tigerian Art Studio. It's their first game. Like this style is like painting or something like that. It's very interesting, the style of the visual novel. So let's start over here. Okay, it gives this error because of Chrome extension, which is weird, but you can always click. It's weird, this error Chrome extension is like, okay, but you can click to pass. Like when the game came out, this didn't happen, but this was because of a patch that happened. I don't know why he tries to go for a Chrome extension. I don't know why is that. Like tries to open Chrome. Very manual save recommended. Tears. Someone is gonna cry. You go. As you see, it's like this, like painting, which is interesting. Never play one like this. And then this one coming over here, this is where the face of the characters appear, which interesting way to do it. Tears. The accent with which this monosyllable is for a thought tempered with lenience is undoubtedly one of reproach. The person to whom it is addressed recognizes it as such, though it has not owns a quite drying effect upon her. Crying again? I could not hold back the tears. I do not think I am much a crier. You have never seen me cry. No, I could not hold the tears. Do not hold them back then. It is good to let them out if they want to come out, says as he wipes her tears with his handkerchief. Okay, this is an interesting thing too, like you can click like in the face to see stuff like the body, the handkerchief. Yeah, this already got here bug at the face, like it here, over here appears the newspaper. You can click over here to see some stuff. The shoes, and then over here then appears the character. You can read, but it's like a small text. Faustina Bateson is a 24-year-old and has been a columnist in several newspapers for several years. And then you can read stuff. Over here it says that click on various parts of the character to find out more information and unlock new dialogue options. The file frame is interactable, this one over here. I don't think you can click, no, this is always the same, okay. So like that it opens new dialogue options. New name. Oh shit. Oh, this is only to see the names of the characters, right? Oh. Okay. The problem is that to record the game it only works like this, and I can't put over here because it says that it's manual save. That's over here. I wonder how it works, manual save. Okay, first page. Okay, click and it's done. Okay. Thank you. Thanks for the square of cambric. If you have some very nice pocket handkerchiefs. I'm gonna say thank you. Thank you. Faustina smiles lovingly. Why do I see you cry now? Now her tone is differential. Do not you remember? It is not allowed or at least excusable at such a crisis in my life. No, do you not remember? I remember it, but I do not think it is such a cause anymore. The elder girl has sat down by her young friend and is speaking in that tone of passionate crushiness which used to belong to love, but which female friendship has lately stolen from his quiver. As Faustina sits down and puts the newspaper on the bench, can be read on the back of the paper that in 1846 there was an estimated 1.33 million poor people in Britain, but the situation is no better 4 decades later. Jesus Christ. You have beautiful eyes, you know. In them you can see your most thoughtful and kind nature. What you mean of such cause, of course it is. It pleases me that you see my eyes now, reddened with tears, gratefully. Gonna choose this one. It pleases me that you see that in my eyes, now red with tears, gratefully. Faustina smiles as she looks at her even more intensely. In my opinion, so far from having cause or tears, you have every reason for doing the other thing. I think sometimes in here, like it's bugged, like sometimes it should be our character talking, and it should be her, Faustina, and then sometimes it disappears the face, like this part over here. For laughing, yes. For laughing because my dear, kind old father is dead. The edge of that loss is blunted by 6 months. You are not crying for him. Because my home is broken up then? Because I see my sister drifting away from me? Because my future is chaotic? No. Wiping furtively away one more water drop, it is only your loving wish to comfort me that could make you support such a paradox. I will perjure myself pretty freely with that object, I own, but in this case there is no need. The break up of your home is indispensable to your mental development. As long as your father's regime lasted, you were like an oak in a flower pot. Sooner or later, the pot must have cracked. Althea shakes her head. Maybe you're right, and I just need the distance to realize he had a limitation, perhaps a few of the prejudice of his day. But her voice slightly quivering. It was very, very happy with him. Probably this one. I was very happy. Yeah, over here it missed the border. A small break in her speech, indicating the depth and sincerity of her regretful departed Philistine. Faustina feeling press her hand and deems injudicious to pass on to a branch of the subject on which she may feel herself on firmer ground. It's missing the border. As to your sister drift away from you, it was in the nature of things that she should. Can't you walk together except they be agreed? As your fine old book says. The book of Amos is not my book. The biblical book of the Old Testament written by Amos. Okay, this is what I chose. That's right. Do not make that face. I know it's not exactly your favorite book. I just wanted to make a little fun. We used to agree as well as most sisters in the old days. She rejoins regretfully. Since my father's death, since Claire's engagement, subjects of difference seem to have sprung up between us. There are some topics on which there is no use pretending. Why is pretending separated? That we think alike. It could be like this. We can't forget these like old times. In the old times, it could be like, you know, fancy people talking like that. Pre-tending. I don't know. Your humble servant, for instance, with a smile. Althea's silence may perhaps be taken for an assent to this query, or perhaps may be due merely to the preoccupation with which your own memory is pursuing the history of the family dissensions. She certainly does not think the same as I do about you. She certainly does not marry well. Let's go for the first one. She certainly does not think the same as I do about you. Faustina smiles in a relaxed way, although she tries to hide it so that Althea will not notice. Though we were not alike in our natures, we were very much at one in many of our opinions. In our complete want of sympathy with all my mother's methods, in our indignation at the way in which she tried to write roughshod over my father's wishes. She did not succeed, rather dryly. No, because his nature was too strong one. But now that the check of his firm hand is removed, I dread to think what eccentricities she may run into. She breaks off, as if the subject were too painful a one to bear further pursuing. there is a silence. In the game there is puzzles too to fix. They removed one puzzle because there was a bug and the developer couldn't find about it. What was the problem? Match the sunbursts pair by clicking on the button surrounding the locket until all the silver strands have unfolded. If you need to start the puzzle, click on the center of the sun. You can skip, of course, but like there's a puzzle you should at least try to solve. I remember the path, but the problem is now remembering. I think I already fucked up. What the hell was it? No. Because this needs to appear. But I think in here I already fuck up because I think it needs to come over here too. Okay. Probably I should have moved this one. This one is gonna work. Fuck. Three of them. There we go. There we go. Found it. But you can always skip if you don't know. That's no problem. It seems so ungrateful looking back to think how I disliked you all through that first visit. How I misjudged your views and disbelieved in your aspirations and hated your short hair parted on one side. Even now, instinctively, I rather regret that your example induced more to adopt the same style of hairdressing. It may have been my example, it certainly was not my precept. How fun you are, she says with a slight smile. I am sorry I cannot join in your joy. No, I'm gonna say how fun you are, of course. How fun you are, she says with a slight smile. Faustina smiles with pleasure. If it had not been for my father's death and your extraordinary and most unexpected sympathy and kindness to me at the time and afterwards, I dare say we might never have been drawn together. Oh, but you are so kind, her eyes filling. There is no question of kindness where one loves. Look into Faustina's eyes, look away. No, look into Faustina's eyes. Look into my eyes, still the soul. If there were anything settled as to my future, resumes the younger girl presently. Whatever it might be, I hope I shall be able to make up in my mind to it. But thought it is 6 months since dear father's death, mother has yet given no indication of what plans she has formed for us. No indications? Lifting her eyebrows. Well, no doubt that is the wrong word to use. Of course, one can see in what direction her bent lies, but I do not quite understand how that is to be combined with forming a home for her children. See again, understand. It's like, she'll be together. Perhaps that does not enter into her scheme. That she means to turn us adrift? Do you mean? No, this one. That she means to turn us adrift? Their eyes opening wide, as if this idea presented for the first time had something scaring into it. You are all pretty well full-fledged. I see great kindness in keeping well-grown young birds in a nest too small for them. Then as the novelty of the idea, too new as yet to take any of the pleasant coloring conveyed by her friend's tone, keeps Althea silent. She goes on. Clara has turned or is turning herself out. Your brothers, with their embryo professions, are hovering on the very edge. Fanny thaw her wing. Feathers may not be quite grown, will very soon be fit to fly. Fanny's only 17. Fanny's just a kid, it does not count. 17 is not a kid, it's almost an adult. Right, 18. Fanny's only 17. Oh, there is no cause of fear for Fanny, with vague indifference. And I am certainly quite full-fledged, but I should be glad to have some idea, with a slight return of unsteadiness in the voice, in what direction my first flight is to be made. Can you have any doubt upon that head? That some affectionate reproach is meant to be conveyed by the question is plain from the speaker's manner, but Althea is too preoccupied to observe it. Oh shit. New people appearing. I think that mother must have made up her mind, must have some proposal to make to us, or some ultimatum to convey, by the gravity with which she asked us to all meet her in the library at 4 o'clock. At that moment, little Fanny trots down the stairs together with a maid who transports the girls' games to their next location. Almost without stopping on her way, she greets her sister and her friend. Hello. So this is Fanny. Good morning, ladies. Do you know it will not be long before mother sends for us? I think she will wait by the library door. Then you will not be able to say that I am always late for everything. I think you should do the same, sister. Okay. Oh shit. What the fuck? Okay. Silverware Teophilo. Okay, interesting. Hellish shampoo. Ah, yes. The Fragrance Beauty. The dress. Berry cloth. Shoes, of course. Deep softness. Oxford shoes. Okay. Oh, shit. Ajax Brothers. Fabric. This same thing. This. Aha. Good leather, and then Fanny Vane is 17 years old and the youngest sister. Although she's much loved and brings happiness wherever restless steps take her, her sisters have always thought that she is not very intelligent. Whoa. Because of age difference between them, she loves everything to do with friends, but what she likes most are the parties and dance, of course. Fucking course, she only likes parties. And she's not clever. Oh shit, look, unlocked. Where are you going with your mirror? By the way, names. There we go. Let me save. You never know. You never know what can happen. Let me create another one only in case. Alright. Where are you going with the mirror? The one that I unlocked. It is because of Thomas. He takes it off to annoy me, and it really bothers me a lot. Every day that passes, Thomas is more annoyed with me. I do not think I can stand it anymore. Suddenly realized the sadness in his sister's eyes that, although they do not no longer denote having cried, still transmit some sadness. Althea, why do not you draw again in that notebook of yours? Every time you draw you seem to be very happy. Besides, I love your drawings. I abandoned the idea of being a painter. Maybe I will listen to you and start drawing, yeah. Maybe I will listen to you and start drawing. Fanny smiles contentedly, and after this she goes to the door with the joyful walk she always takes. It is nearly dead now, is it not? Is not it? I mean, because this is fancy how they talk. I cannot tell you with that vague and yet strong dread. I look forward to her announcement. I have tried to face every possible contingency, and yet she breaks off. Tell me, with lenient indulgency, as to seek child, a few of the bugbears you have conjured up. I am not at all afraid of not being able to lay them. There is no time, and it will not be worthwhile, as we shall so soon know the worst. Still, it might ease your heart a little. Holy moly, Though you say that I have outgrown her, and perhaps in some ways I have, thanks to you, gratefully. Yet I will miss Claire dreadfully when it's just me and my mother, for the boys will be, of course, away, and Fanny is too young and unformed to count much. I fear that the radical discrepancies between all our tastes and feelings will come out terribly strong. I do not think it can be quite our fault, but we have none of us been able to get near mother. She ought never to have married, replies Faustina gravely. That was the root mistake of her life, as it has been of so many millions of other women, now that she has regained the use of her wings. Over here, the is together with regained. Needs to be bloop, separated. Althea looks at her confused. I am only putting the state of the case before you from her point of view. It remains to be seen to what point of the compass she will fly. And shall I have to fly with her? Rejoins Althea with a disgusted intonation. I would love to fly with her. Do you think she will let me? And shall I have to fly with her? Yeah, like I don't need to go with my mother. I want to fly alone. So. And shall I have to fly with her? Rejoins Althea with a disconsolate intonation. Ah, there is the clock striking. Do not let us a minute late. Do not let us a minute late. What? Seizing the hand of her friend and pulling her towards the door. What the hell was that one? That was a weird phrase. Like I understand that's like, you know, those old times, like sometimes the words, the phrase that they use are like weird, but that didn't even make sense. At least for me. As they hurry down the stairs, Rosina Bateson and Miss Althea meet the other members of the latter's family. All with equal haste converges to the rendezvous. Apparently, all are anxious as herself to learn their destiny. Of the two boys who, with the superior speed of longer legs, one goes by them without notice. The other and younger essays a trifling schoolboy pinch on his sister. The older sister, who also emerged from upper chambers, half holds out her hand as if encouragingly to Althea, but seeing her fingers already possessed by Faustina, drops it quickly. As they reach the door of the library, Faustina pauses. Had not I better leave you here, darling? This purely family matter, offering to loosen her clasp. No, come with me. I shall want you to give me courage. Yes, you better wait outside. No. I'm gonna say come with me. I'm gonna say that. Confianza. How you, Faustina, quantity major, confianza. How do you see this, right? Because it's not easy to see the names. So we have confianza with Faustina, is it? To invite to the family matters. Is what it looks like. Of course, confianza, because don't forget this looks like it's from a book or something, so that's why it's like that, confianza. Of course, I understand what it is, confianza. It's like you trust that person. The books are for the most part old, obviously the accumulations of respectable generations. However, the trash that covers the big writing table is obviously new. Reports, schedule, books of reference, typewritten letters, socialist journals. At this table is seated Ellery, who, as soon as her ear tells her by the cessation of any rustling or footsteps that her audience are arrived, and awaiting her, rise and turning slowly round, face them. They follow the others, already seating themselves on chairs, setting the row as if for family prayers, through Miss Fane, who have scorned the smile. This widow might have pinched on behind a table which will conceal the degradation of the female skirt, well past for a little widower. She stands for a second silent, not collecting herself, or seeking homely words or modes of expression, since, when it does come, her speech flows, with perfect round fluency, but calmly eyeing the row of young people before her. Her hands are lightly clasped in front of her, nor does she need to hic out her easy oratory by any of the awkward and anguished gestures with which the ordinary Anglo-Saxon, when forced onto his unwilling legs, tries to ease the birth pangs of his stillborn fancy. Still quietly meeting her hearer's anxious eyes with her own cool, steely grey ones, she begins. Baxter Vane, okay. I have asked you to meet me here today because I thought it simpler to tell you all collectively what otherwise I should have to communicate to each separately. This day is a day of Christ in all our lives. She paused a moment, evidently from no difficulty in proceeding, but with a calculated intention of letting these few preparatory words have time to sink into the soul of her hearers' minds. Okay, so Baxter Vane, probably our mother, I wonder. Silver, a purse, Sarik jewelry, goddamn. KK factories, A. Addison, a brochure or something. I don't know how you say the name of that. Lot and Lot perfume is what it looks like. It says Essence. The ears, the shoes, soft and flexible shoe company, hands. Okay, this always go over there, right? There must be here. This will be the end when I find everything. I don't see anything on the. Aha, the ring. There was a ring over there. What else could it be more? Aha! What else is the ticket? This ticket entitles the bearer, Miss Vane, to FB passage on this voyage. Okay. Wait, but you don't get the face? Am I missing something else? Shouldn't you get the face of her? Right? Oh my. It even bugged. Now it appears funny. I don't think now I can do this. Oh well. It bugged. It appeared from the previous character. Fanny, what are you doing here? This her old form. Funny time travel over here. Because it looks like by clicking on that file it should appear her face, but it didn't for some reason. Yeah, no, it even over here is bugged. There's these words. You have no dimly, perhaps, and vaguely, for I have never explained them categorically to you, knowing with what an absolute want of sympathy they will have been met, the aims and inspiration of my life, and how entirely they have hitherto been frustrated by a slight untelling I had to circumstance. Althea has put up her handkerchief into her mouth, a sob is rising in her throat at this, to all children, very apparent allusion to their father. The time is now come when I am at liberty to obey the call which has for many years been ringing in my ears. Another effective pause. To some of you perhaps, her eye rests for instant doubt fully on Althea, may have come in a glimmer of comprehension of what my enforced regarding of that call has cost me, but on this branch of subject it is needless to dwell. I have only briefly to indicate to you my scheme for the future. A tiny rustle of expectation, a caught in breath, tell with what eager attention the little audience is listening. It is probably unknown to you all, and irrepressible, that within the last few months a band of women thinkers and workers has collected together and formed itself into a society whose object and aim is the redressing of the balance as between man and woman, as between rich and poor, as between the treader down and the trodden. She is not looking at her children now, but out into the unseen future of battle with lightning eye. You may object with a calling back of her attention to a row of forgotten faces before her, that in such a society there is nothing noble, that 100 such have, within the last few years of awakening out of sleep, sprung into being, and I am quite willing to grant it. That with differentiates with this society from all others is, firstly, that it applies itself not be any one branch of subject, but to the whole colossal body of it, to the redressing of the balance as between every wronger and every wronged, in each stratum of society, in each nationality, and in every quarter of the globe. And secondly, which is perhaps a necessary corollary, that is demands and will take nothing less, the whole being, the entire life with no reservations, the soul, body, heart, and energies of each of its members. And it is with a deep sense of pride and a trembling conscience of the responsibility attached to so great an office that I make the statement I have been offered the presidency of this society. She stops, not because her team other breath is exalted, but as if to give time and opportunity for any challenge of or objection to her purpose that may be offered. The elder son throughout the interview must kept his eyes resolutely fixed on the wooden floor, as if by no other method could he enough convey his utter disapproval of and protest against the whole proceeding. None such comes, it is received in total silence, without even the faint expectant rustle that had accompanied her opening sentence. She proceeds. It must be apparent to the meanest capacity. Each of the speaker's 5 sons and daughters has the impression that the superlative adjective is applied with a special sense of its fitness to him or herself, that the carrying out of such a scheme as I have sketched in is incompatible with the cares and duties of family life. Claire is turning her engagement ring round upon her finger, as if only by holding on tight to the happy fact that it symbolizes can she endure the painfulness of the present ordeal. Okay, so this is Claire, but probably this all fucked up. Ring, dress, share? Oh shit, Scottish furries, what the hell? Okay, I'm missing 2. No, 3, yeah, this one probably over here too. The sleeves, this same thing. The earring. There we go. Claire Vane is 23-year-old and the eldest daughter. She has been very close to Althea, although lately they have been drifted apart because of their different point of view. Okay. It's a peer. It's a peer letters. At least I got everything from that one. At least. For those cares, those duties, I've never been endowed with any special aptitudes. Let me only take out this, because if not it doesn't appear. Yet those cares, those duties had already been sacrificed, what must prove far more than half of an existence, destined, as I think. Though here you will probably, nay, certainly not be in accord with me, to higher and a broader use. Once again, a lifted eye lightens, and for a second as well. Checked yet visible emotion hinders her clear and read utterance. During the past years, many women might have ordered dinners and arranged social engagements better than I. Comparatively few women have, as I believe, ever been so penetrated with the pity of humanity. Her voice sinks a little, weighed down by no counterfeit feeling, but in the next sentence rises again alertly, as if borne up wards on glad wings. The course of time, the chain of circumstance, have enabled me at length to throw the reins on the neck of that pity. No trembling less dirty any longer hinders me, and since, as I have pointed out to you, the major part of my life has been in respect to what is its main import, already wasted, you will readily comprehend that I have no time to lose. I am resolved, clasping our hands tightly together, to set sail at once upon that noble voyage which, for the clogging petty impediments of domestic life, I should have embarked upon 25 years ago. Her lips closed and her eyes met in calm and determined challenge to those of her hearers. To that challenge not one of the hearers rise, thought it is plain that each of them accepts it in a different way. The younger is looking at his mother with a puzzled schoolboy stare. Oh shit, Thomas, the younger brother. Okay, man. Okay, shampoo. Men's clothing, the shoes. There we go. Thomas Vane is the youngest member of the family. He's 16 years old and has been studying at Eton College for 7 years. He's mischievous and likes practical jokes, but when he grows up, he wants to be serious and respect like his father. Okay. Fanny is undisguisedly whimpering, seeing that the pause which she has made in order to give her audience an opportunity for question or object is not likely to be used for that purpose. Miss Vane presently resumes. During these years, I have done my duty by you according to my lights. If I have lavished fewer caresses upon you than other mothers, I have labored harder than most of the to impart to you that habit of mine, that mode of regarding life, which are more valuable than my endearments. That I have failed to inoculate you with my ideas is due partly to a fundamental difference in nature between us, but chiefly to the existence of a strongly antagonistic influence entirely outweighing and rendering what nugatory mine? That influence no longer exists. A slight decorous lowering of her voice notifies, if any such notification were needed, that the allusion is once again to her late husband. But its effect remains. I would fain have led all or any of you in the path purpose to treat the only path that seems to me to be really worth treading, but since this was not to be, always must part. The life which I have bound myself to lead is one that will not admit as of a settled home. It will entail much moving from place to place, much public speaking, a slight drive on the part of the down faced eldest son, and entire freedom from the ties of family life. Those ties I have, as I believe, now a full right to resign. Three of you, Edward, Claire, and Althea, are of age, and therefore legally competent to conduct of your own affairs. Fanny and Thomas are still minors, and since your father died died in the state, you are aware that their guardianship devolved on me. Basically saying that Althea and Claire can go. They don't need to stay there because we already are adults, but the Fanny and the kid, the younger brother, need to stay with her because the father died, so basically it's that. I have only to add that I hope we shall part with reciprocal goodwill. There is, or Althea fancies it, a very faint human quiver in the metallic voice at the utterance of the wish. As those who respect each other's aims, even while unable to share them, I earnestly hope that you will all prosper in your several roads. Claire has chosen the beaten track in which I wish you to find happiness and prosperity. Althea has not yet made that election. Perhaps she never will. With a slender tinge of hope in the intonation. If she does not, if the progress of time and the development of mind and heart that it brings lead her to feel the pit of a mind more strongly within her than the desire for selfish individual happiness, I need not to say with what welcome we shall receive her into our ranks. I need not detain you any longer. At least something to read correctly, because not having this background it makes it hard to read. She bows her head slightly and turns Aga into her loaded writing table as they file out. Okay, stick together. Okay. Like it has a lot of issues that like with time, with time it can be fixed. Okay. But I like the style of how it is. It's a pretty cool one. What the fuck? That was a bug. The young people troop up the smoking room silently together. Edward enters the room in a grumpy manner. Faustina enters it with them, perhaps concluding legitimately that Althea's invitation to support her in the crucial interview extends to the discussion that is to follow it, perhaps guided by a curiosity stronger than her manners. It looks at first as if that curiosity were likely to pass unsatisfied, since for some moments none of the repudiated families seemed capable of expressing, or at all events inclined to express, their opinions upon the just past interview. Faustina lets Althea sit down and position herself behind the back of the chair. Althea, who laughed likely to feel some comfort in Faustina's arms, is grateful for the gesture and feels comforted to have her close to her, of course. So, she has chucked us all, says Edward. The eldest son has been leaning his elbow on the mantelpiece. Okay, so this is the eldest son. Our eldest brother. Our mother has, at all events, the merit of doubting her is uncross the T's. Okay. Hello, brother. The moustache. Oh shit, it is for the moustache. Oh, it's for the hair too. Oh, I thought it was only for the moustache. Drinking trip, typical. Okay. The button, pocket watch, shoes, men's sack suits. Is this same thing? Doesn't work. I need 3 more. Not that, of course. Aha. Yeah, block to pharmacy cream for the best shape. Wait, over here? I'll probably cuts the beard and that's the moustache. What else could it be? It can't be this because this is where it's positioned. This the necktie. What the hell could it be? This always sweet. What the hell could it be to get the face? Because these are the buttons and that's the pocket watch. Oh, there we go. I don't know what the hell it was. Yeah, but I don't know what it was. Okay, Edwin is the eldest of all his siblings. At the age of 26, he is the main heir to the vain fortune. Although this does not change the fact that he's working hard at his studies at the Balliol College. He was the brother closest to his father. Okay. I got him. Because I didn't got the other one. No, there is Baxter Vane. I thought I had missed it. Yo. I want to save game. Come on. It was moving the dialogue and not being able to save. If, says Claire, speaking for the first time, We have to discuss mother's actions, and I do not see how it is to be avoided. I think it ought to be quite among ourselves. The voice is very gentle, but there can be no mistake as to the intended application of the words, and a slight color comes into Faustina's handsome olive cheek. The house is to be clear of strangers, she says, moving to the door with a half laugh. What? I am sorry that I'm taught to come under that head. No, I'm going after Faustina, of course. Fuck you! You might have let her stay, she's quite like one of us. Althea looks for Faustina in the house, but is unable to find her. She has probably decided to take a walk in the gardens, or in the greenhouse of exotic plants. Faustina will probably look for her later to talk to her, so she decides to go to her room to find some peace and, at last, a space to reflect on her present and, above all, her future. Faustina! Where are you? You are so fast, fucking Flash. It's in the retirement of her own third-story bed home that her sister, coming after the lapse of more than an hour in search of her, finds her. Are you alone? May I come in? What? Wait, how the fuck do you unlock this? Huh? Probably because of the shutters. What? Unfortunately, I could not find Faustina. Because let's say that by doing those things on the people, you can unlock choice. Probably, I missed it. No, but I unlocked everyone. Like only if that Baxter, the mother, it didn't work because it bugged. Could be that. Damn. Althea was looking at the painting of her father, who died several months ago, laughs a little bitterly, recognizing its apprehensive quality. You need to not be afraid, sister. My part is not polluted by the press of poor Faustina. Poor Faustina. That is the last epithet I should think of applying to her. How can you think something like that? Is it? Well, have you come to tell me also so you will arrange your future after you have turned me out? We did not turn you out. You turned yourself out. I think I had a terrible distinct hint to stay away. You are right, but I could not take it any longer. Yeah, this one. It's like... No! Poor old Edward, says Claire with a compassionate inflection. He's sore and hurt. You must make allowance for him. Maybe you're right, poor Edward. I think the epithet quite as much misplaced to him as to us Faustina. Yeah. With Fan Faustina. Claire minimum amount love. We will not apply it to either of them then. We will abstain from epithets altogether. They are generally misfits and you are angry enough as it is. I know that I'm very cross, Cotillion with a breaking voice, but it's hard to have every man's hand against me. I'm not used to it. No, I'm not angry. I'm not angry. Althea, you only have to look at your face to see that, but do not worry. I've come to make you a proposal that will make you happy. I look forward to hearing it. A smile of anticipated pleasure lights up the beauty of our sister's fact. A slight answering glow of vague hope illumines Althea's prettier features. Althea takes the familiar box that her sister offers her. She has not looked at the pictures inside for some time. Her sister's intentions in showing it to her are obvious. First, however, she has to open the box. Okay, this is the puzzle that they removed the box. That was bugged. As you saw, it was okay. You need to open the box, but immediately pass to this scene because the box doesn't exist in this version now. They say that they will try to put it back, but almost figures out what is the bug. I have come to say that you should live with us, with me and William. With you and William? Why? He hates the sight of me. He does nothing of the kind. He's far too good to hate anyone. You will never support a plan. Well, I do not know what a good man does instead of hating, but whatever it is, Will knows that he will never hear your plan. I'm gonna say the first one. He has heard of it. I actually phoned him 5 minutes after you let us, and he was thrilled with the idea, she says in a slightly hesitant voice. Althea's face is an expressive one, and at this statement, it assumes a look of such extreme incredulity that they both laugh a little. You'll be away at the stock exchange most of the day, pursues William's betrothed, with an heroic assumption of thinking this a subject of congratulation, and you and I have always pulled together perfectly until Faustina, until just lately, and even now, since we know the few subjects on which we differ, we might easily agree to avoid them. And Fanny? Fanny thinks she would like to go to Paris for 2 years to Madame Saracen to study at the conservatoire, and Edward sees no objection. I should be the fifth wheel of the coach, says Althea with a semi-rigid sound in her voice. You had not made any other plan, I suppose? How could I? The whole thing was sprung upon us as a surprise. What do you mean? I thought I imagined you might have some project proposed to you by another person. Oh, by Faustina? Yep. Althea shakes her head. I have not seen her since I have not seen her since she, like me, with a slight return of bitterness, was requested to efface herself. Efface herself? What the hell it means efface? The fuck? Claire gives a sigh, which she tried to make not too painfully one of satisfaction. If it contains any other ingredient, she endeavors with equal loyalty to suppress that. It is very good and unselfish, and like you to propose what must be such a sacrifice to you, says Althea in an affectionate, moved voice. Such a sacrifice as the continual presence of any third person, were it an angel from heaven, must entail upon a newly married couple who like each other. Perhaps this sentiment finds some echo in the bottom of the person addressed, for she rather kindly evades than absolutely contradicts it. I dare say you will not trouble us long. I dare say before a year is over you will be newly married couple, or rather, laughing, half one yourself. Hey! Maybe, but you know I don't like the idea of marriage. I shall never marry. You know that I have an aura of it. Huh. This is interesting. This one unlocks, like over here saying that we can probably marry, but we don't like the idea. In here saying that we hate the idea of marrying, like ugh, disgusting. But I think I'm gonna say this one. Minimum approval, Claire. Minimum approval, minimum amount of approval. I know, hardening with a near approach to real anger than her placid smooth face often shows. That of late you have chosen to say so, and I also know to what influence to attribute it, but when once you have got away from that influence. Well, I have not banished the idea completely either, if that is what you're asking. I have no wish, with a complexion quite as hated as her sister, to get away from it, since it's far noblest I ever known. Well, I have no banished the idea completely either. I'm gonna say I have no wish. I have no wish, with a complexion quite as hated as her sister, to get away from it, since it is far the noblest I ever known. We must be talking at cross purpose, says Claire, her tone changing from its unwholesome higher to one of apprehensive distress. A moment ago I thought that you had all but consented to come to us, to William and me. What has that to do with it? And how will that remove me from its influence? Do you expect me to turn away from Faustina? But you do not suppose. She breaks off, and after an ominous pause goes on more deliberately. You must see that I could not possibly ask William to admit into his house a person whom he dislikes and disapproves as much as he does Miss Patterson. And you must see, with a crimson face, and in a kick trembling between indignation and pain, that you could not possibly ask me to live in a house with which shuts its door upon my dearest and most valued friend. You might see her, of course, if you chose, at other place. I need not to say that neither William nor I will put any hindrance in the way of your doing that, however much we might like it. Althea shakes her head. The very fact of knowing that we differed upon so vital a subject. Vital? You see, if you do not even understand what is vital to me vital will be a perennial source of dissension between us. No, Claire, with a sad fixed dignity, I fully recognize the generous that dictate your offer, but it will not be for the happiness of either of us I should accept it. Yeah, this one looks good for to say. You are given the choice between Faustina and me, says Claire in a profoundly hurt voice, and you choose Faustina. The irrepressible are at all events unrepressed, contempt which mingles with the wounded feeling of her tone stings Althea into prompt rejoinder. Holy moly! This is not a competition, Claire. You know I will always choose you, Claire. You are my sister. You and I are sisters, Claire. That is not going to change, but Faustina is very special. I think it's cruel of you to make me choose. You know, one part of my life. I'm divided between the third and the fourth. I think I'm gonna say this one. You and I are sisters, Clara. That's not going to change, but Faustina is very special to me. Quantity major, empathy. Hello. Quantity? Should it be quality? I don't know. Quantity or quality? I don't know. But much as you'd like her, you will not have a very high opinion of me if I were willing to throw over one who has cut herself adrift from every natural tie in order to devote herself to what she thinks, to what everyone must think, the Eiger claims. That is her version, replies Claire, in a tone whose unaffected disgust pierced through the habitual suave moderation of her voice. Other people say that she left home because she was kicked out, that is, because she could not get on with any one member of her family. No! How the hell could you unlock this? Wow. I just told you that she's very special to me. What does it matter what it was for his family? What matters is who she's me. Yeah, this will be with other choice that will unlock. Damn it! 3 and I only have 1. Probably like the 4th will open one. I will have this and probably another one with the 4th. It could be that. Faustina! I don't know, it's how you can see those things that go up or down. You know, the quality or quantity things. You can see those things over here. Like, I thought it was by clicking the name of the characters, but it's not. I thought it will be, but you can't see those things. It's what it looks like. What the other limb of her sentence will have been does not appear, since it is amputated by the opening of the door and the search of a dark head. My own darling, what has become of you? Yeah, I've been searching for you everywhere. Have you two been turned out by? Their speech breaks off as short on catching sight of Claire. Claire cuts the disagreeable knot by going, simply saying to Althea in a lowered voice. If Faustina overheard the conversation we were having, she will probably disillusion me, but please do not tell her anything. But if you change your mind, as I think and hope you will, you have only to let us know. Claire leaves the room by closing the door behind her. What are you to alter my mind about? Asks Faustina, a voice of tender curiosity or seeing that Althea hesitates. Is it something that you have been forbidden to tell me? If so, of course do not think of answering. It is no secret. I am sure Claire will not mind you hearing. She has been asking me to live with her and William. And you have accepted? At the moment, obviously, I have to think about. I have not said yes for the moment. Hey! I said no, I don't want. What the hell is that answer? Both of them are similar. She's listening, is it? It's like both of them are similar, right? Because I still need to think, and I not said yet for the moment. Basically, they are the same, right? Like, what's the difference between these? At the moment, obviously, I have to think about. I not said yes for the moment. Yeah, it's like it's so minimal. I think I'm gonna say this one. Okay. Miss Bats gives a side of perhaps rather ostentation relief. How wise. Was it wise? Asked the others, half sadly. The advantage of proposal plan began to emerge in her mind. Should I choose love and warmth and family life, which after all are three good things? Love and warmth in larger measure are waiting you elsewhere, if you only take them, and as to family life for a woman, it is generally more of a hamper than a help. You found it so, did you not? Did not you? Like over here, like you see this sentence. You found it so, did not you? Shouldn't be did you
Didn't
not?
Didn't you?
Or didn't you? So shouldn't be like that. Like I understand. Like again, these those pastimes where fancy people they have another way to talk, but still it's like it's so confusing to read. Like you found it so, did not you? It's like so weird. It does not have to be that way, but I understand why you say that. I think I'm gonna say this one. Yeah, click. You found it so, did not you? Says Althea, wishing that the picture called up by her sister words of Mrs. Batson being pitchforked from under a family roof, three by the combined efforts of her relatives, did not present itself so vividly before her mind's eye as she speaks. Mother, that she served has certainly been her experience. How well she spoke. I felt as if I had never understood her before. The pity of humanity. Yes, that ought to be a lever strong enough to uproot one from any surrounding. Sometimes I have half a mind to join her. You'll be in her way, replies Lucy nastily. She does not want you. Enthusiasts like her can work only on their own lines, and her lines are not yours. I do not quite know what my line is. Dejectedly, expect to be dropped and at a loose end. You are feeling very lonely, dearest, says Faustina in a kind voice. You must remember that it is the inevitable result of having outgrown your surroundings. I suppose there may be something in that, replies Althea, but with not much of the elation which the acceptance of so flattering a post might imply. I do not think so. I just think differently now, and besides, this whole crisis that we are going through is helping us. Since it is that I have caused you the pain of feeling that your health is too tight for you, and it's a painful process, development, growth, often are, will not let you me apply the remedy. What remedy? I have robbed you of a home. Do you imagine that I am ignorant that it is on account of your beautiful loyalty to me that your family have turned their backs upon you? But they have not turned their backs. No, but they have not turned their backs. They have made it a condition of their countenance that you should renounce me. I know that as well as if you had told me in so many words. This is so nearly the truth that Althea is silent. I have been the means of robbing you of one home, may not I, sinking her voice, which has quite put on tremble in it. May not I offer you another, a very different one in point of luxury? But as you have often told me, the essentials of life are what you care about. You do not mind the trappings. I'm absolutely indifferent to them. I'm absolutely indifferent to them. I knew it, in a tone of triumph. Then will you come and live with me? Share a home where there may not be a great many silver spoons, laughing, but where work and aspiration and love will certainly not be lacking. A flush of gratitude and half frightened pleasure reached over Althea's face. Do you mean live with you in the slums at Notting Hill? Oh, how often I have thought of the tales you have told me of your experience there. Of the people sitting out all night upon their doorsteps in summer because they could not face the vermin in their ideal beds. Do you really think me worth and able to share that noble life? Let me save. Faustina changed countenance slightly. No, no, I was not contemplating that. That was merely a phase through which I happened to be passing. I had to live there for a while in fact, because I was getting up the subject of the housing of the working class, but seeing the illuminated countenance before her darkened and shade into disappointment. Do not be afraid, it will be the same picture, only seen at a different angle. We can serve the cows, our cows, the cows of humanity. Better just now in a Chelsea flat than in a Notting Hill lodging house. Were you studying the issue of housing? Faustine, I will not get angry if you are trying to protect me but do not lie to me. Can we? Can we? Brightening again, but with a relapse into cloudness. I thought that another a friend shared your life, leave it with you. I'm gonna say this one. We have agreed to part, replies Faustina gravely. For some time we have been developing in opposite directions. No, darling, with solemn tenderness. If you bless my home with your sweet presence, your sovereignty over my heart will be absolute and shared. Althea is silent, looking on the ground, while her face quivers. What the hell it means, quivers? Ah, I want to say yes, yes. I'm not say yeah. I need to think it through. What the hell it means, quivers? Althea is silent, looking on the ground, while her face quivers. What the hell it means, quivers? I don't know what the fuck it means.
Trembling or shaky with a slight
I don't know. I want to say yes to live with Faustina, but I don't know what could be the best choice in this one. Like, because of quiver. Because I've not made my decision yet. I need to think about it through. But I'm gonna do it. Then think about which proposal you find most attractive and then choose. Okay, so basically it's almost the same thing. Like, you need to choose, think about it and then choose. I'm sure I do not know what you see in me. Basically, you're gonna need to choose which one you want, Claire or Faustina, Butler or Bateson. Okay, there we go. But again, both of those choices were almost the same. Whoa, golden. Ah, here goes back up. The house is to be sold. The good solid family house, which thought since its 18th century birth, it has been seen the senseless tide of fashion set westwards from it. It's still modish enough to suit any but a very much up-to-date appetite. Some of its neighbors in the street are pointed out as having been dwelling place of illustrious persons, and itself strong and stout, with its Adams garlanded walls and its Sheraton chimney piece, faced the world as heavily as when first it left the hands of conspicuous masons who built it. Goddamn. It has been nucleus of the whole family life of the Vange, the birthplace of the children, the point towards which all their school thoughts have set, and whence they have gone forth joyfully to the pantomime and tearfully to dentist. Ah yes, the dentist. In one room of which Claire had first heard William declare his love with a clumsiness which might have reassured her as to his ever having done it before, and in another of which Althea, kneeling as at the Holy Sacrament, had received the last faint, fond look from her dying father's eyes. And now it's come to the hammer. Its sale is to be preceded by that of its furniture, and the last weeks passed under its roof by the family that has so long lived in it are spent in all the ineffable discomfort of deciding what is to be kept and what's abandoned. in allotting to each member their several possessions, and in seeing these lodged from their ancient place dumb objects which has been landmarks in all their lives. By the end of the month, they are all intolerably sad, dusty, and covered with hay. Miss Vane has departed earlier, taking with her few household goods since she does not contemplate ever again having a fixed roof. Three departed before the last ceremony in the Vane family, which the solid homage is to father the marriage of Claire. Fanny, it is true, goes on crying intermittently through the last weeks, but in her case that does not prove much. She always likes crying. It is the solution of her difficulties. Damp and easy they flow away, and no one has the heart to stop them. In the honest hard work of those final days, Edward has made calls upon Althea's memory over battered toy, an illustrated picture, book for recollections of departed wars, iniquities, and junkets, and that memory has never failed to answer for the demands made upon it. But unfortunately, it is not through a judgment of their difference, but simply by a judicious silence about them, a truth of God that is only calm has been arrived at. It has doubtless been aided by the temporary disappearance from the scene of Faustina, whose being no fool, indeed she would have been full of quite phenomenal proportions. If she had failed to do so, having noticed that she has no longer any foothold in the house, as for the moment effaced herself. On the eve of the marriage, after a long day's labor, they are resting in the library, the only sitting room still habitable, since it's to receive Claire's few wedding guests. Though some of her relatives have offered her their house and others have stretched the hotel, she has clung pertinaciously to the resolution to go forth to her new life from the old doors. The family, wearied as they are, will go out present to dine at the restaurant, their kitchen staff being almost wholly dismissed. They have had to take on some tasks on a temporary basis if they want to serve themselves a tea, for example. Now Althea is in charge. Althea has only made a tea a couple of times and still struggles to get even a little water boiling. This doesn't stop her brothers and sisters from politely asking her to make them some tea when they see her come in with the tea tray. Fortunately, the cook, before being sent by her mother to a friend's mansion, had left some biscuits and a list of preference for each of them. Wow, really? Now we need to make tea for all of our family, is it? We need to make the fucking tea? I was kidding about that. Holy moly, what the fuck am I seeing here? Select the lid of the tea you want to serve in the teapot and it will be added automatically. If you make a mistake or want to chase tea, simply pour the contents of the teapot into the left hand, the contents of the teapot into the select the jug to dump contents on the kettle and create another brew. You can dump any of the contents of the teapot infinite number of times. So Edward, Claire, Thomas, Althea, Fanny. Okay. Oh my god. Click on the note. Okay. Master Thomas likes pickle with lots of milk. Pickle, South Asian fine leaf tea. So which one is Edward? It's the first one. So how you prepare? You need tea. I think this thing could have been better. God damn. Did that work? I don't know. What the fuck? Congo with a lots of milk. I don't. The problem is that you don't even know which one is milk. Is this milk? This is the water. This to dump. Okay. This to dump. These the things that you need to put. Oh my god. But where is the milk? Is this the milk?
No, I think that's sugar.
Yeah, that looks sugar to me too. So how the hell you get milk? Because the second one, like for Clara, Congo with milk. But yeah, but the first one was milk too. I don't know. I'm gonna skip this one. This is a lot. It's too much. They could put this water, this the thing. I think that puzzle is too confusing to understand because you need to put a thing here, and then there's milk, and you don't even know if you can put milk. You know, it's too much. I think they could have simplified a little bit the explanation, and it's too confusing. It's like, oh, this part, okay, that last one is like, okay, to dump. If you make a mistake, you know, dump it. But the other things are like so confusing. It's like it could be simpler, you know. These are the ingredients. This is the milk. This is the water, and you don't need to wait. It's like, okay, to make a tea, you need boiling water. That's the first one. Boom, you put water on that place. Oh, this one wants milk. You add a thing with milk. Put on the cup. Put the boiling water, and then the tea. Done. You know, simpler. It didn't need to be that confusing. On receiving the mug, Fanny looks distinctly displeased. I like the one the cook makes much better, she says with great effort to be as polite as possible. Do not complain, mine's not much better. Thomas' face takes on an almost forced expression of disgust, although the situation seems to be amusing. It's not just the kid's tea that's bad, mine isn't good either, Edward says, visibly annoyed. It is clear that cooking is not your thing. If you can't even make a proper cup of tea, now Clara, would you please make them yourself, says Edward. Do not be angry, Ned. This may be the last time we are all together for a good reason. I'll do it no problem. Clara smoothly prepares all the teas at high speed and delivers them to everyone with the perfect amount of milk. Yeah, see, like, I don't know where was the milk. I understand, okay, you need to put the milk, but what the fuck is the milk over there? To think that this is the last evening we shall ever sit in this jolly old room, says Edward, setting down his teacup and casting an eye irrepressible joyful, even while uttering this pensive ejaculation along the empty bookshelf. It is what they have all been feeling far too deeply to give it voice, and the sense of how unsafe in the present tender state of the family spears is the topic evidently hurries Edward into another thought kindred subject. Did you ever find that second volume of Pennant's London? Never. Someone must have borrowed it. Or stolen. People are so dishonest about books. It was almost too bulky to steal. Both Edward and Althea breathe a sigh of nostalgia, remembering the moments they spent reading the book with their late father. Both look at each other while the room is silent. By this time tomorrow, we shall be scattered to the ends of the earth, resumes Thomas. He is too young to remember the Pennant sunny evenings, nor suspect the emotion working in his seniors. It is rather a bold metaphor to call Eton and Oxford the ends of the earth, answers Claire, laughing tremulously. By the by, continues the boy, turning abruptly towards his second sister, where are you going to scatter to? It is a query they have all wished to put, and all shrink from putting. That there is also a shrinking from answering in the person addressed is made evident by the unnecessarily long pause before she opens her mouth. I'm not going to scatter anywhere. You are going to stay in London? Yes. The monosyllable stands quite alone, and is evidently intended to remain in its isolation. The rest of the family, despite the itch of angry curiosity that is beginning to irritate them, will probably leave it so. But once again, the schoolboy cat pulls the chestnuts out of the fire. Who is going to put you up? Aunt Lavinia? No. The Delapoers? No. Where are you going then? Direct and consequently easily answered as this inquiry would seem, it remains unresponded to long enough to have time for a derisive successor to trip up its heels. Have you taken an arch under Waterloo Bridge? Perhaps the young jeer in his tone gives the need to support to Althea's speech. No, I have not. Oh, here we go. The choice. Where are we going to live? Ah, Faustina. I'm gonna say to everyone, I'm going to live with Faustina. Claire, amount mine, disgust. Really, you chose Faustina? If they had been questioned afterwards, all the family would have asseverated that they had expect nothing less. Yet, for a full 2 minutes after the shell has burst, there is generally felt sense of augustness in the air. To the person who has thrown the bomb, it is the most actually perceptible. I have taken half a flat, half Miss Batson flat in Chelsea. Ned, among huge disgust. Holy shit. What jolly fun for you, says Thomas, getting as usual speediest possession of his powers of speech. I wish you joy of it, and her. He turns on his heel as he speaks and makes with disdainful haste and noise for the door. With less noise, but certainly not with less disdain, as Althea with a heart pang sharply feels. Edward follows. Fanny slides inoffensively, but evidently acquiescingly after them. Only Claire remains. So you are going to carry out to the bitter end, she says in a cold voice, that yet has plainly an underlying heat beneath it. I do not know what you mean by the bitter hand. Althea's voice is also cold and has much underlying warmth as her sister's. I am going to adopt what seems to be the best line of life now within my reach. Better, of course, than a degraded existence with us. The heat is beginning to pierce the thin ice crust. You will be much happier leading your degraded existence, as you choose to call it, by yourselves. We shall not be by ourselves. Fanny will be with us. I thought she had decided to go to Paris to study to conservatory. I'm gonna say that one. When it came to the point, she found she could not bear to be cut adrift from us even for a time. Poor Claire Fanny. She has a very lonely little heart. Claire is much too amiable as a woman to have intentionally laid a weight upon the pronoun, but to Althea's ear that expressive weight is but too perceptible. She laughs. So my self-sacrifice was wasted. You'll be the eternal free after all. Fanny does not count. We can always send her out of the room if she's the troop. You know how beatable she is, and William likes her. Yes, William likes her, not like me. It winded me, admit it. No, I'm gonna say the first one. I see what you mean. Yes, he likes her, just like he likes you. It makes no difference to him. And who was it planted that first thought in his breast, smiling with affectionate skepticism? You may swear yourself back in the fact, Claire, but I will never believe that it grew there of itself. I may have suggested in the first instance, but he took it up at once. If you say so, my dear, I will believe you. And now he has joyfully laid it down again. I'm gonna say the first one. I believe you. I know that you never of late that is. I can't believe in any man having a good or kind or noble impulse. I'm not quite so irrational as to damn one half of creation because of the faults and selfishness that age of tyranny and the radical viciousness of the present social system of developing them. The whole shape and flavor of this sentence, smacking unmistakable of the source whence it sprang, make Claire feel so angry that being a woman with a habit of self-control, she does not trust herself to speak. Althea is cautious of and half regretful for having been offensive, yet her next sentence, thought tricked out as an amend, does not improve matters. I never doubt the existence of good men in the world. Edward is a good man. William is an excellent man according to his lights. According to his lights? Yes, according to his lights. I suppose we must all walk by our own. The modified encomium contained in this sentence and its aroma of patronage have the effect of vanquish Claire's sweet temper. And if some of us choose to mistake for light nasty little boggy exhalations, we may change to land our disciples in a slog. Althea's eyes flash. Granting your premise, I'd rather be landed in a slog while striving after light than sit contentedly in the darkness on dry ground. I expect your opinion even thought I do not share it. Would you? Personally, I see no necessary opposition between light and dryness. But the tone of the sentence is out of character with the gentle, natural speaker, and she at once drops into a more natural key. Oh, how dear Father Love hated it. Oh, the blessed blindness and deafness of death. A disfiguring pucker of angry pain contracts Althea's mouth. It is unjustifiable, criminal, cruel to drag in the dead, who cannot contradict you to your aid because you are getting worsted in an argument. I deny that I am getting worsted. Will not he? Can you deny that you will have hated it? That you will have hated to test her? Althea hesitates a moment. Jesus. I can and do deny it. He might have disliked her at first, yes. I am almost sure that he will at first, but afterwards, when he recognized the real grandeur of her character, under all the crust of prejudice that he could not help sharing with people of his state, he was so quick to recognize and generous to allow nobility in others. Dear, dear father, he will have rated her as highly as I do, and firmly, I cannot put it more strongly. Claire shakes her head. As you say, the dead cannot contradict one, and there is no use, sadly and no longer angrily, in embittering our last talk by assertions and denials of what neither of us can ever now prove, but I cannot think that you have chosen well for your own happiness. Althea ends conversation and leaves. Althea tries to keep the conversation from ending in such a bitter way. This one. There, with a flush of obstinance, I must differ from you, and even if I do not, will you tell me what better alternatives is before me? You have been in haste, you and William, to fill the place that you offer me in your home. In haste, wounded, why? You positively refuse to come to us. I refuse it because you have fixed conditions that no one with a spark of honor could have complied with. No, dropping her hair of dignity and speaking with unrepressed excitement. That is not true. I could not have accepted in any case. I'm tired of luxury and cotton wool. I cannot get the cry of the whole traveling creation out of my ears. You made the tester, but it was Faustina who first made me really hear it. I do not think one needs a Faustina to make one hear that, replies Claire with quiet contempt, but Althea does not hear her. She is walking quickly about the room with locked hands and luminous eyes. Althea managed to control the anger that was taking all of her and tries to respond in a calm tone. Yes. One has so little time too in which to work. 10 or often 20 useless years at the beginning of life, and perhaps 5 or 10 helpless ones at the end. Such work to do, and only one little life to do in it. Only one life. Is that another chapter of Faustina's Gospel? Only one, practically. Only one that we know anything about or have any control over. And if we are to have thousands throwing out their hands with gesture of unlimited extension, To have wasted the first is no very good preparation for them. I'm sure I have no wish to make you waste it, says Claire with half remorseful sense of the unascetic brilliance of her own outlook. But I wonder, having these views, that you did not join Mother in her crusade? It was clear that it will only be that. Wait, it was clear that it would only be an obstacle, otherwise she would have proposed it herself. I was half sorry I had not. While she was speaking, she looked away, but no. I'm gonna say the first one. There is silence. Althea shakes her head in regret. She did not really want me, and besides, I cannot forget how unhappy she made him. And you think that this will have made him less unhappy? As I told you before, with angry excitement, you have no right to bring him into the question. You have yourself just brought him in. This is true, and silence, sir. Yeah, I don't want to be end the conversation bitter with Claire, you know. So try always to end without that being bitter. Well, says Claire with a deep sigh, rising as if to depart. It is the best that we stop this infructuous talk. At this indication of an intention to leave her on the part of the last member of her family, who had cleaved to her, Althea softly beating her sinks. Involuntarily, she stretched out her hand with a childish gesture to pull her sister back by the groan. Claire Dorward's sad face turned back, not reluctantly, since there had never been any touch of hardness in her heart, but with affectionate regret. Well, wait, this is the same thing. That was the same thing. Thank you, Claire. You'll always be my sister. You know I will. No, I'm gonna say this one. The other one is like, eh. Thank you, Clara. You will always be my sister. You know I will always love you. More mansions. Ah, yes. Even more mansions, of course. Why not? So now we're gonna live with Faustina, right? Because it was the choice. The break-up has come. Claire has been united to her William, and as Mrs. William Butler has set off on a singularly piercing afternoon to a probably cold country, where a friend has lent them a seldom inhabited and sparsely served country house. It is the mode in which nowadays every couple that respects itself must begin its wedded career. Though to many it may seem but a dubious improvement upon the old jolly month at Rome or trip to Paris. However, with so many new firsts and such a warm flame of love as both bride and bride, groom can boast a thermometer at zero and setting of Lincolnshire fans for the jewel of their bliss are matters of little moment. William, oh William, the moustache. What the fuck? Alright. Hey, yeah, so many. The ring. Not the teeth. So I'm missing, but I'm missing a lot. Okay, that. Yeah, the necktie. That's nothing. I'm missing 3. Okay. Like the vest. Okay, but no, I'm still missing 3 though. I was missing 4. Holy shit. Oh, he has another ring on it. Hmm. What the fuck could it be? These still the same.
Let me check that again.
No, I'm missing two. Okay, I was gonna say I'm missing three. That's still the jacket. What the hell? It also does earrings. That's not it. That's not it. There we go. It was the button. William Butler is 28 years old and Clara's fiancé. He has a good position in a prestigious bank in London, which he did not get by his own merits, of course. His family has a large fortune that has grown steadily thanks to the transaction of the Australian company owned by his uncle. William wants to follow in his footsteps and, like him, hopes to own several something because it's behind that. It is not from want of force that Althea shivers as she watched from the doorstep her sister, blinded and sensibly pelted with rice, yet obstinately radiant, disappearing into the future via the Great Northern Railway Station. Mixed with the dull pain of loss and change is the keener sense of acute compassion. What an awful fate, to be vanished into a fen alone with William Butler for a whole fortnight. Not only so, but to emerge from it at the end of that fortnight, saddled with him for life in fulfillment of that contract with which Faustina has only lately expanded to her the full iniquity. She has to keep her pity to herself, since neither brother's remaining sister nor the few of old friends who shared the doorstep with her will be likely to sympathize in it. Yet she cannot resist giving an emphatic head shake and never to the well, Althea, it will be your turn next. Something that any civilly meaning old gentleman to whom the statement that marriage is not the sole possible solution of woman's riddle will sound like gibberish. Her emphatic disclaimer is misconstrued into the smiling modesty and calls forth the encouraging rejoinder that it is early days to despair yet. Then comes the parting with old house and her kindred. She marched therefore quickly and stolidly through the denuded rooms, hacking with emptiness, and stares blankly at the unfaded patch of wall which alone marks the spots whence her livelong friends, the dear old family Romneys and Hopners, have descended. Her brethren bid her good by, each in different wise. Thomas, with the absent friendliness of one of those mental life, is fixed elsewhere, and Edward can it be from that rare good comrade of old times that she is parting with this cool handshake, supplemented when she offers her face, not before, by a little frosty pecking kiss. After a few weeks, the happy couple return, and Althea finally leaves the hotel where she was staying with Fanny. They return one last time to the old family home, trying not to let the melancholy hold them back. They pack their last belongings in their suitcase and go out onto the driveway to greet Clara and William. Althea watches from a distance Fanny and the couple makes the journey to their new home. Happiness and excitement can be seen on their face, which mitigates a little of the sadness Althea feels in her heart. With determination, Althea does not let another moment pass, and after getting dressed, sets off on her own way to Faustina's house. After walking the distance from the bus stop, Althea and Faustina walk up the dirty, uncarpeted stone stairs of more mansions, Chelsea, to the fourth floor without a lift. So Althea finds when having climbed the carpetless and not particularly clean stone stairs of more mansions, Chelsea, and go inside. The same. She did not tell Faustina when she should be arriving, so she was not surprised not to find her there to greet her. What she certainly did not expect was to find the name board broken when she entered. At that moment, she wished that she had asked Faustina which floor she lived on. However, it didn't seem complicated to put the papers lying on the floor back into the panel to find out where Faustina lived. It even is some misspelling. There is Faustinia and Faustina. Like, it's supposed to be Faustina, but sometimes it's misspelled, it says Faustinia. They need to fix that. Because the name is Faustina, not Faustinia. Althea picked up the paper from the floor after hanging the box properly and tried to place the old papers, which could well be decades old, inside. However, it seemed that every time a new tenant arrived in the building, the list was rewritten, so she had to find out what the latest version of the list was and place it correctly so she knew which floor her friend lived on. Oh, is this a puzzle? Find out which floor Faustina's house is on by dragging the name tiles into the slots in the box and clicking on the corresponding number. The name must match a number with the in option activated. Oh my god, how many papers there is? Oh, you drag. Wait, is it drag like this? So what do we have over here? Because you can drag down, right? Yes. Because this one always goes forward. Find out which floor Faustina's house is on by dragging the name tiles into slots in the box and clicking on the corresponding number. I hope I'm not mistaken. Oh, you need to do like that. Oh shit, I think I'm mistaken, right? Because you needed to check all of those. She's gonna go there. Oh, sure, sorry. Not the right one. Althea knocks the door, but it's not Faustina who receives her. Excuse me? If you are looking for Miss Estelle Sylvia Pankhurst, I'm sorry to say she's not at home. She always forgets to put in the little box at the door, says the clearly busy maid. Sorry for the inconvenience. Do you know where Miss Faustina lives? Do not worry, she's upstairs. Thank you. Listening to the maid, Althea climbs the stairs and rings the electric bell again. This time she seems to have got it right. She is admitted by Miss Batson herself to the privacy of her eyrie. The strenuousness of Faustina's embrace is grateful to the heart, still shivering from chill of its kindred goodbyes, and her torrid words do not sound as exaggerated as in colder moments they might be recognized to be. My darling, we are finally together. I was terrified lest at the final moment Philistia might triumph over me. But here you are, here we are, and can Earth give anything better? To an indifferent or overcritical eye, it might seem that Earth must be poorly supplied with convenience if it could not. But the depressed and overwrought girl to whom this flight or rhetoric is addressed hears only the warm affection that dictated it, and she bursts into grateful tears. I thought that no one was ever going to be glad to see me again. How can I thank you enough? As if there could be any question of thanks between us. More Mansion is one of those blocks of towering sharing buildings that have sprung up within the last 3 years to meet requirements and match the purse of independent female spirits, imprudent marriage and narrow incomes. It is neither large nor pretty, says Faustina, introducing her new inmate into her minute drawing room. Just a working human's room, but there will be space for a great deal of happiness in it. When there is love, what does a couple of yards or so matter? I'm sure they will, with an emphasis all the stronger for the pang of shame at having felt a momentary sense of dismay at the disproportion between her own and her friend's tall figures. I'm gonna say the first one. The other one is like a little bit weird. At least we can say that we have a good view of the river, pulling back the window curtain. When there is love, what does a cup of tea or so matter? Quite so. And now, darling, sitting down and drawing Althea to her side, met, met me have a good look at you. Should be let me have a good look at you. Should be let. Have not I been exemplary in effacing myself all these days? If the Philistines had but known what it cost me. Well, they given her choice, she would prefer that Faustina should not habitually refer to her family as the Philistines, but the feeling that it would be ungracious to begin to carp in these early moments of their reunion, coupled with fresh gratitude for the devotion expressed, tie her tongue. And Miss Batson goes on, in blissful ignorance of the slight jar. And the function, question regarding the wedding with an accent of good-humoured contempt of the noun. How did you get through it? It was not that I had to get through it. No, thank God. And Weaver was the victim born afterwards? To Lincolnshire, of all balmy, excellent place, this weather. But dear thing as she went smiling to the block. They mostly do. Althea looks pensively into the fire burning hill temporarily in a little shoddy grate calculated to consume the minimum of coal. I was told that it will be my turn next. Do not say such things, even in joke. Faustina stands up, almost frightened at the idea, but Althea rises to give her the warmth of his hands and quickly recovers her smile. But if it were not for you, it could have been like this, says her thoughtfully. Till you came, I had quite as much inclination towards love and marriage as our girl is. Till you came, I had quite as much inclination towards love and marriage as the average girl is usually credited with. I'm going to say the first one. Thai average girl. It is owning to your kind partially that I seen above the average. It sounds incredible now, but I fully intended to marry. I remember wondering how I should endure the parting from dear father, till you lifted a corner of the veil. I could have lifted it a good deal more if you had not stopped me. I know, but I felt I could not bear it. You need to not be afraid, you told me quite enough. Don't throw, it is not the man I'm thinking about these days. Hello. Both feel that they are getting on a plane of emotion too high for everyday use, and by one consent, descend to earth again. Would you like to see your room? There's 2 rooms? Or is it only one? It does not take long to see, being indeed of the closet, like proportions to be expected from the scale of the rest of the flat. And once again that feeling of ignoble dismay assails Althea as she sees how entirely her box crowded it up, boiling over even into the squeezy passage. I brought as little as I could, she says apologetically. Most of my things are warehoused. Do not distress yourself, beloved, says Faustina airily. You will see they will all shake down quite comfortably in time. One has to be as economical of space as in cheap's cabin. But how was a princess like you, laughing, to know that? I will have a few boards knocked up over the bath in the bathroom. Thank you. How much I have to learn. How one overlays one's real needs with all the stupid suitors. Why on earth did I bring dressing bag? I'm gonna say the first one. You are welcome. You will see that in the end you do not even need them. Althea begins to take out the contents of the suitcase and place them on the bed. When Faustina sees Althea take out a pair of jewelry, she hurries to add that to her hair. I will keep it locked if I were you, and I will not put the bottles and things out. I don't know how much about the servant. She is new. Sarah, my last one, went off at a moment's notice. She said she found the flat so intolerable dull. And I do not know much about this one. The porter found her. I have not had time to get to know her personally. I had such a phenomenal press of work these last few weeks. Lucky for me that I have, or do I not know how I could have endured your absence? For the moment, Althea does not answer to the whip. Her mind is entirely occupied by the thought of how scandalously self-indulgent her whole life scheme hit her toe. What? Has been, and by the more practical wonder of how the less her bed chamber can be scheduled into containing the greater her wardrobe. As he placed the clothes in the wardrobe, he noticed the chair next to the wardrobe, on top of which is a small book. Should be as she placed it. When she picks it up, she realized that it is the sketchbook she had given to Faustina. From the way it is placed, it seems that Faustina had been looking at it lovingly and a couple of times in that room. With a small smile, they placed the clothes as best she can in her new room. Althea finished putting her belongings away just as it time for dinner. And then she realized to her dismay that it's not only her room that is small. I know you do not care to Strauss what you eat. Not choose Strauss. This is not a very reassuring introduction to the feast, but Althea assents heartily. She really believes what she says and tries to go on believing it, even after experience has made clear to her that not to care to Strauss what one eats, in the sense of dining unmurmuringly on a delicate cutlet with exquisitely prepared vegetables, argues a different degree of heroism from that needed to face the gravies, bread sauce, and melted butters of the porter, fond artiste of Mormons. However, it is surprising how well tinned apricots, orange, and sardines can fill up the crevice left by the failure of more solid nutriment, and it is with a sense of true satisfaction in having begun the real working woman's existence, began it not in child's play, but in sober earnest. After finishing, Althea follows her friend to the drawing room. Eliza has almost let the fire out, which, considering the universality of her functions, might seem excusable. Eliza? Yes, the new maid I told you about. She's nice, however the last dinner was based on Paisandou brand cans from Irish stores and did not require any preparation. By her tone of voice, this fact is obviously not uncommon. Eliza has almost let the fire out, which this already existed, repeated, but which means that it was a different dialogue over there, but it was the repeated one, and now I don't know what she said, what Faustina said. I'm gonna say, oh yes. You'll get used to our little ways very quickly. When first I left home, I thought the food nasty and the beds hard. And of course my antecedents were far less luxurious than yours. Were they? Watching with a slight shiver Miss Patson in different efforts to revive the all but dead flame. Do not you think that if you held a newspaper before the fireplace it would create a draught of air up the chimney and make it burn? Certainly, darling. Give me the firebrand. It is on my writing table. Althea complies and takes the journal in question from among a wilderness of papers, schedules, reports, such as reminds her of her mother's labors, and under which groans the disproportionately large and business-like writing table, which occupies a third of the tiny sitting room. Whether or not due to the inflammatory nature of the newspaper, in which it recognizes a kindred element, certain it is that under its influence the all but extinct fire renews its youth, and raises up the flue. Faustina, who has been kneeling before it, holding up the fostering organ of sedition, subsides first onto her heels and then into sitting posture on the rug, with her head leaned against Althea's knees. The attitude a little shocks the discipline, as unseemly reversal of the fit order of things, but Faustina's sigh of enjoyment arrests her protest. How well I may reward for my superhuman efforts to keep this one evening clear. How exaggerate between loves, did quite superhuman with respect to angels. Do you never have a free evening? Nah, I'm gonna say this one. Oh, exaggerated. Do you not think so? I hardly ever have a night off. I will not get them either, says with sad in their voice. I'm gonna say the first one. And I shall hardly ever have one either. With a sort of hard excitement. That will depend upon the nature of your work. My work? Have you thought of all what you will put me up? Oh sure, a job. Have you thought at all what you will put me? Which one? It's almost same, but one is my work, the other, oh sure, a job. Let's choose this one. Faustina looks at Althea strange as she wonders if it's possible that she does not know the meaning of the word working woman. Put you to, darling, what an expression. It is not the least figure of speech. I want you to put me to whatever you think me fittest, or I'm afraid I ought to say least unfit for. I know, sadly, how very little untrained labor is worth. It will not long remain untrained. Contact with real life is the education best suited to an organism like yours. How I'm getting to contact with it? But how? Faustina hesitates a moment. You will be of immense advantage to the cause upon the platform if you could bring yourself to make the effort. I know that it will be the painful one at first. Your personality would. Hey, okay, the cause. Oh no, not that. Oh yes, I remember the great cause, the one that seeks justice and restoration between balanced man and woman. Yes, this one. I remember that she talked about this. She talked about this balance, the cause between the balance between the man and woman. Yeah, I remember that. Amount average approval. Okay. Faustina smiles at Althea's enthusiasm. I think that one person in the family who is in the cause is enough for a family. Will you try the pen then? I might try. I'm afraid I shall not be able to do much with it. No, I might try. Why not? Jesus. You might make your coup d'etat in this, putting a forefinger upon the newspaper, which, having it fulfill its mission of reviving the fire, now lies neglected on the hearth rug. What? Althea picks it up. Is it a new paper? It should be a newspaper. I do not remember to ever seen it before. Miss Batson gives a short laugh. You will not be very likely to meet in your milieu, but it is new. It has hardly begun to feel its feet yet. When it has, I think it will do valuable work. The editor is not of mine, and will put in anything I sent him. Althea reads for a few minutes, then looks up and shakes her head. I am sure that I could not do anything like this. What should I like? What was my idea? Will be to help you more directly in your own work, to devil for you, as it were. I am not fit to take any initiative, at least certainly not yet. But if I could lighten your burden in any degree, I should feel that I was not quite the fly on the cart wheel, but that I was helping it to turn ever so little. It is very, very sweet of you. As to my burden, my shoulders are broad, laughing. And of course your lovely presence, the sense of having your exquisite sympathy always to turn to, is unspeakably helpful in itself. There is another way, of course, speaking less glibly, in which you could be of inestimable use to me and to the cause. Is there? Very eagerly, tell me. You might be one of incalculable aid socially. Socially? Yes, socially. I'm continually being brought up against the dead wall of not being able to get at the wire pullers themselves. Do you want me to carry mail? I do not quite understand. Faustina looks at the sinuous shapes of the fire as she thinks about the best way to communicate her message. When I'm getting up any subject, social or political, I'm often crippled by my inability to reach to the people who could best post me in it. I have to fall back on blue books and Act of Parliament and such, like the eye bones, when I could contain my hand twice as efficiently and with a hundredth part of time, and troubled by half an hour should this use speaking of secretaries or undersecretaries' brains. Only that you cannot get them at them. Is it the only way? Unfortunately, I can't do it another way. You may be sure, with a shrewd laugh, that if I can, I do not let the grass grow under my feet. But I do not see how I am to help you. Do not you? That is because you do not realize the value of your own social charm. I think I know what you mean. Faustina has raised her head from Althea's knees, and her eyes are looking with a very business-like sharp brightness in them into her friend's. I am shipwrecked upon two opposite rocks. Either the planets I am in search of move in different orbit to mine, to speak candidly, they do not and will not know me. I am getting a little mixed in my metaphors, but you must not mind that, or else they know me too well, and flee when they see me coming. And I am supposed to be able to access such spheres? They will not suspect you, your sweet face, your beautiful clothes. They are almost all warehoused. No doors will be shut to you, your name, the stature of your family. Oh, I do not undervalue this advantage. Will open to you naturally house into which I have often unsuccessfully to maneuver an entrance. You are born to opportunities, which I have to struggle for in the sweat of my brow, but which through you I might utilize almost as well as if they were my own. Althea does not immediately answer. She looks into the fire with a cloudy brow. Do you mean, she says at last, that I am to go into society with the object of taking people off their guard and surprising their confidence? You may put it that way if you choose. Thought in justice to myself, with a slightly wounded intonation, I must say that I think my success was capable of a nobler construction. Althea remains for another minute or two in silence, and distinctly unpleasant thought, nor do her friend's next words much improve her mental position. You must remember, darling, that I did not volunteer the proposal, if you can give it so definite a name. You asked me to tell you how, in my opinion, you could best serve the cause, and answered as directly and truthfully as I knew how. But since the idea is so repellent to you, let us never return to it. There is a short interval of awkward silence, ended by the younger woman breaking into apologetic speech. You make me feel as if you were such a moral coward. I dare say that my objection to your plan was only due to personal distaste shrinking from disagreeable. You must own that at the first blush it had a little look of treachery. Huh. Gonna say the second one. Faustina doesn't answer, but her look is undoubtedly one of understanding. Will you let me think it over and try to disentangle the merely personal motive from the other? I confess it's not a pleasant idea to me, but after all, effectively, it is not the pleasant that I have come to seek. The last clause of this sentence is scarcely susceptible of a flattering interpretation as regards Miss Patterson's surroundings, but the later is relevant. A fortunate visit. Huh. Okay, but basically, like trying to for the cause, trying to use the name of Althea, the clothes, how she is, the statue of her to go into place that Faustina couldn't go to. Basically, using Althea, to get that. It's what Faustina is trying to do at the same time. And of course Althea doesn't like that idea. It has now been 5 days since She had been residing at more mansions, where Althea has been carrying out the errands that Faustina has been asking for, asking about possible jobs that she might be able to carry out, and sorting out the huge amount of paperwork that Faustina stores. When she was not busy doing such tasks, she drew, a practice she had returned to in search of a place where she could find the peace that all the thoughts that sometimes filled her head took away. In these 5 days, she also discovered that many things, which she has hitherto considered as much as a matter of course as the diurnal revolution of the earth, are for the future only to be looked upon as delightful and unexpected accidents, or as to be done without altogether. She has discovered how very late a general servant can get up in the morning, how very cold a hot bath can be, and how crumpled a tablecloth. She is also in a position to decide between the comparative claims to victory over the nose of the chewed that smells of water spilled on the stove and of paraffin slopped over a cheap lamp. Her diet, since her rebellious palate is not yet tamed to accept the alternate and sometimes mingled grease, rawness, and burnings of Eliza's infant heart. Over which Faustina's right certainly victorious has been chiefly that of a monkey in the tropics, viz. Orange, bananas, and cocoa nuts. Since at the end of nearly a week of this innutritious fare, she is not perceptibly worse case than at the beginning. She makes the reflection how grossly she must have overheated herself during the whole of her former life. As to Faustina, she belongs to that class of persons. There is a large one to whom the minor discomforts of life are matters of absolute indifference. Her iron health and steel nerves enable her to face almost any kind of food without aversion, nor is it apparently of the least moment to her whether the spoon with which she subs her porridge is misty or bright. Once or twice she has also given utterance to a slight intention of sacking Eliza if she does not improve, but thought this condition of her stay is never fulfilled, that unsuccessful artist stays on. Were she a good cook, indeed her powers will be severely tried by the erratic nature of the times and seasons to which she has to subdue her heart. It is precisely on this fifth morning that Althea, who had woken up earlier than usual that day from the screams of her argument that was going on in the neighboring house, while meditating on the new experience of living in a building that also several houses, meets Eliza about to prepare brunch as usual. She had crept in, which she usually does to the point of going completely unnoticed. Again. Good morning, excuse me, but I feel we have not introduced ourselves properly. Okay. I'm very sorry, miss, she says clearly in a hurry. I do not have much experience in these matters. My name is Eliza Aria. Well, you know this, I'm your servant. Is there anything I can do for you, miss? Is there anything you can do? Althea repeats. You do not have to worry. No, do not worry. Do not worry, Eliza. Eliza's young face seems to be relaxing as she glances sideways at the pot that rests on the cast iron cooker. Okay, here we go. Bloop, the basket. With food and stuff like that. Shoes. Is that it? No, it can't be, right? There has to be more, right? It has to be over here, right? Later is know about the new maid who takes care of the fourth and fifth floors of the first block of the house that makes a more mansion. Eliza Ria is 23 years old and is known to have previously worked in a house as a maid. Although in this new job, she also performs the duties of the cook, despite her very limited knowledge of the culinary arts. I wonder if you need these ones. Because we already got the face. Normally the face is only in the end. So I will say that we got. Normally the face only appears when you have everything, so I hope I got everything. Because normally the face only appears when you get everything. I just want to talk about your training. Oh Jesus. Oh, no problem. I know how to read and I was lucky enough to be taught how to write, she says clearly, proudly. Which I like very much. When I found out that I was going to work for the writer Faustina who was in the papers, I could not believe it. Her famous article in Men at Dinner in St. Marylebone Workhouse led to more help being given to the canteen of. But Eliza stopped short when she saw, from the expression on the Althea, that her answer did not answer the same question that the lady was alluding to. In that case, I think Althea says to the point that you should consult a cookery book. I can get you one and pay more attention to your cooking and ironing duties. No, I'm not gonna say this. I think this one is like saying, you should, cook better. I think I'm gonna say this. I did not know you like to write. What do you like to write about? I'm gonna say this one. It's more like being more sympathized with the person. Eliza amount average confianza. Okay. You see, just yes, I finished a short novel that I intend to try to publish. During the day, I think about what I write at night, she says with a big smile. So I hardly sleep, and with his head down, I beg you to forgive my faults, as they largely arise from lack of sleep and ignorance. But my firm intention is to solve my shortcomings. As soon as I find a cookbook, I assure you that I will study it carefully. Hey! Are you planning to publish a short novel? I hope you can find a publisher who is interested in your manuscript. Nah, I'm gonna say this one. The other one looks like being mad. It's like, nah. I don't want to be mad. Eliza quantity major affection. Up to now it has not been easy even to write it. I have to take care of this house and the one below besides helping the other mage in the communal room. Luckily, I have a typewriter that speeds up the work a lot, for fear that people might think that she got the typewriter illegally, Eliza adds. The machine is mine. When I was a child, I got to work for a family taking care of their children, but when they grew up, I was throwing out. Fortunately, a friend of that family hired me to look after him. He was a very studious man, the house was very humble, but he had many books that he let me read. The one whom I consider the best soul in the world died only a few days ago, leaving me a typewriter as a gift. Whoa. I unlocked both, right? Yeah. I'm sorry for the loss. Thank you. She paused for a moment to overdrive the memories that flooded his head. However, thanks to the sad event, I am now here. I heard about this place, a place where there were women who wrote, and I decided that even if I could not pay for the stay, I would at least be close to those women. Okay, we know a little bit more Eliza, how she ended up over here. At that moment, Faustina leaves her room, perhaps surprised by the good smell of the food, or perhaps by the punctuality with which it was ready. In more mansions of food either is or is supposed to be served at any particular hour. The dinner, which on Monday is prematurely snatched between two meetings, is on Tuesday prorogued to midnight, after concert or a dramatic entertainment at the People's Hall, or some heated political or social platform work at the Federated Women's Club. Once or twice, it is true, she has broken into tender expletives of enumeration at the heroism with which her friend braves the change for the worse in her material conditions. But these expressions have always been attended with an implication that no to one cast in Althea's mouth the material worse is more than balanced by the moral better. The project of social utility for Althea has, to her relief, not again been broached, but she cannot reproach herself with having been idle. In the short and breathless intervals of their public appearance, she has developed incessantly for Faustina. She has been the means of spreading a great deal of inflammatory literature against which, if her taste revolts, her sense of blazing indignation at the abuse forcibly, if somewhat scurrilously, lashed carapace triumphantly thought. Occasionally, it is true, she utters hesitant protest. One day Althea asked her, "Do you think we need to be quite so abusive?" She asks, pausing over a sentence even more violently vituperative than its predecessors. "One cannot cure a gangrene with rose water," replies Miss Patson forcibly. "True, but still more tentatively, do you not think our arguments are weighty enough in themselves to be even more effective to put temporarily?" I'm gonna say this one. "What a born fighter you are, Faustina," says Althea, leaning back for a moment rest in her chair and looking with a half amused and yet wholehearted admiration up to her companion. "No great battle was ever won with wooden swords or pea shooters. True, but still more tentatively, do not you think your arguments are weighty enough in themselves to be even more effective if put temperately? It is not grand when you cannot help doing a thing. My heart burned within me, as the old book says, and grand or no, it is an easy thing to do, now that I have you to support me with your exquisite faith and courage after having worked alone all my life." "Alone? But you and Miss Lewis." "She was a fadist. She went her own selfish way. I never was so disillusioned about anyone in my life." Althea paused once again, in spite of her self-charm. "How soon do you expect to be disillusioned about me?" "How soon? When all seas run dry." Such a declaration cannot help but be followed by an embrace, and then they return to business. "Now that you have given me the heads, told me the sense in which you wish this latest answer, I can get through them perfectly well by myself. I'm really grown quite expert with the typewriter. How long do you expect to be away?" "You may be quite sure as short a time as possible I can," using the tone with which in old days that contemplative survival a man in love was wont to part from his mistress. After which Althea sat down without an instant delay to the typewriter. Althea realized that although the paper which she has inserted into the machine to write on it runs smoothly when you turn the planter knob counter clockwise until the top of the paper is at the level of the type guide, there is a slight top, an obstacle that hits the edge of the sheet. Althea decides to take out the sheet she had inserted and investigate. She decides to use the carriage return lever to see if she can see the cows. Oh shit, probably it's gonna be a puzzle, so let me save before. I think that's gonna be a puzzle where you need to fix the machine. By taking the roller as far to the left as the typewriter allowed her and turning a little, Althea can see that there is a small piece of paper caught between the bottom of the platen and the paper finger, but she cannot reach it with her fingers. She immediately turns the machine to see if from the other hand, not knowing how the machine works internally, she does not want to touch anything inside that could render the machine useless, but she thinks that by moving some parts slightly, she will be able to reach the piece of paper with her fingers. Yep, it's a puzzle. It was easy to see that it will be a puzzle. Like trying to take out the paper probably, and not dismantle the machine. What the fuck? Reset the mechanism, consult manufacturer chill. The correct alignment of the gears is achieved by pressing 10 times. What? 10 times 3. 10 times 3, 10 times 1, and 3 on 2. Remember to slide. What the fuck? Click on switch. Okay. Slide mechanism to access the buttons. Click on the switch to rotate the gears to match their slots and access the trapped paper. What the fuck? There must be something else. Okay. How the hell do you know what's the free? Okay. Reset the mechanism. Okay, I think I understand how to solve. I think I understand. But let me try. One of these puzzle takes a little bit to load. Alright, so to correct alignment of the gears is given by pressing 10 times. Ten times the third, 10 times 1 and third. What? This is what I don't understand over here. The correct alignment of the gears is achieved by pressing 10 times. Ten times the third. The third, that is this one. 10 times 1 and 3 on 2. Oh, I need to move this shit. Oh. Hey! There we go, got the paper. I don't even know if I did correctly or not. I was like, it must be like this. I press and it looks like it worked. She went like with the fucking fingers. Take out the paper. Let me save this what it is because, you know, I did it. Hey, it's moving. Oh my god. Save! Oh my god, man, this bug. And it's still moving. Oh my god. Oh, now you can't even save. Dude. Oh my god, you can't even do no. No, you can't even save. Damn, this is very buggy. She immediately goes to the kitchen where she discovers Eliza lying on the floor making some strange noise. What? Althea quickly went over to check on Eliza's condition. No, go quickly. Althea quickly went over to check on Eliza's condition. As she gets closer, she realizes that she's clearly still alive, but she's unconscious. But now I don't even know what hell it was that thing, what it said. That sucked because I couldn't even see what hell it was because I wanted to save and that didn't even work. I can go over here. Okay, in the note says, sorry for the conflict which has arisen between your ideas and mine, or more probably for the apparent conflict between my way of being and yours. I'm sorry for any harm I have done to your heart. I hope you may find solace in the arms of Mr. Trekoshik. It seems that the letter was never finished and never sent, neither this one nor any similar one, because it seems that either the pain was too great or surely the reason overcame the rage. What is certain is that the letter was from Faustina and was addressed to Miss Lewis. Perhaps for fear of jumping conclusions about Miss Lewis and Mr. Drake's relationship, Althea decided to focus on starting to type. After a couple of hours... Okay. Now I already caught up. With great delight, she moved Eliza's head slightly to look and feel for any injuries. Fortunately, it seemed that it was, at least superficially, she had not suffered any injuries, but as she approached her, she could clearly smell the smell of alcohol emanating from her mouth. What? Drinking? Walked away from Eliza. No, what the hell? Despite her uneasiness, she quickly grabbed a cushion from the sofa and with great patience and care placed it. Yeah, this one. At that moment, someone knocks on the door of the house. One would have thought if he were an intending caller upon Miss Bateson, he might have spared himself the trouble to climb after seeing the out appended to her name downstairs. Yet it cannot be Miss Vane that he means to pay that civility. At least there is no look of recognition on her face when she appears in the doorway in answer to his summons. But then her whole manners is so bulwarked, her expression one of such preoccupied consternation, that it is quite possible that she might have failed to recognize her own nearest relatives. John, I beg your pardon, taking off his hat with a very well-bred air. I must apologize for my intrusion, but thought I saw that Miss Bateson was out. I thought I might leave a message with her servant. The servant? Regarding him with a distraught look. I think you have several blackout caused by alcohol. I think you have several blackout caused by alcohol intoxication. I think you have? I think you have several blackout caused by alcohol intoxication. Indeed. I don't think it's necessary to call a doctor. Could I be of any use? Oh, thank you. Yes. It shouldn't be you, it should be her. Is it Sarah? No, Sarah left a week ago. He smiles slightly, a smile which, where she left flurried, might convey to her mind that the tenure of domestic service in more mansions was not apt to be a long one. Is it clear that they always hired the cheapest staff possible? They have so far been standing on the threshold, Althea with the door in her hand, but she now joyfully gives around and, fully admitting her deliverer, leads him with precipitous steps onto the scene of the tragedy. The kitchen, a cup more in size, is seen when they reach it, to be nearly filled by the prone body of a woman, who is stretched flat upon the tiles. From under the table proceed stertorous sounds, which proves that at least she is not dead. She has been making those dreadful noises ever since I first found her, says Althea in an agitated voice. The first thing he does is crouch down, then kneel. You put the cushion under his head, did not you? Althea nods. Well done, she said. It should be, he says without waiting for a reply. He lifts her head carefully and looks scrutinizingly into the flushed and disfigured features. What do you think? Is it because of the alcohol? The girl asks in a startled whisper. He shakes his head and, replacing the disheveled head on the floor, rises again to his feet. You need not make yourself uneasy. There is nothing the matter with her. Nothing the matter? Nothing beyond being dead drunk. Confirm my suspicion? You are clearly under the inspiration. What am I to do with her? Gazing down in stupefaction at the vanquished votary of alcohol. I do not know when. It might be quite late. Miss Patson will be back. If you allow me, I will carry this woman into her bedroom and lay her on her bed to sleep it off. She will be alright when she wakes. In my bedroom, well, if you must. Would you? I should be grateful, but can you manage it alone without my help? I'm gonna say this one. Minimal amount approval. Claire. What? Should be John. Pray do not touch her. Hastily, I'm quite up to carrying her. She will not be heavy. These sorts of women never are. He's a good and his word, and having fished out and grasped with adroit strength, the succumbent Eliza bears her in triumph to Althea's bedroom. Although she is small, she is like any other perfectly inert mass, a good weight, and for a minute after laying her down, he draws his breath a little hard. I do not having her here. I am afraid you found her very heavy. Fanny. What? Fanny? Why Fanny? And now who is this? Not at all. Who is this now? It should be him. Not at all, thank you. It should be him saying over there, not that woman. What? I suppose she will feel better in a few hours. Yeah, it should be him, John. She will probably not steal before tomorrow morning. But if you will allow me, I could staying with you, remain here till Miss Bateson return. And you think, looking at still snoring, hip with an expression which the compassion tries constantly to master the disgust, and it's not complete vigorous, that when she wakes she will be alright, supposing that she's not alright, that when she wakes up she's still intoxicated, and that tries to satisfy. I think I'm gonna say the first one. In all probability. But if you allow me, I could obviate any danger of the kind you fear by staying with you, remaining here till Miss Bateson's return. His proposal makes her look at him. She can scarcely be said to have done so before, in order to see whether the source from which this suggestion flows makes it seem a perfect one, the alternative of what? What else is this? With Eliza? What? Unless a burglar or murder be writing letters of fire upon the brow of the proposer, it can be scarcely be a less desirable one. Apparently her eyes find no such prohibitory sense inscribed, for she answers without any perceptible hesitation. I will be an act of real Christian charity, but are you sure that is not putting you to inconvenience, that you can spare the time? Perfectly sure. She throws what he thinks, what most people would think, an extremely pretty look of silent gratitude at him, and after a moment says interrogatively, "We need not stay here, need we? In her present state she cannot do any harm." "None. And the walls are so thin that we should hear in an instant if she stopped snoring, is it not? Is not it?" "I think so." Without more delay she leads him away into the drawing room. At her invitation he sits down. She does the same at once for the first time. They both begin to feel shy. To neither of them is it a very usual sensation. Althea has lived in the world all her life, and that one scanning of look she had cast at him, but now has revealed to her that if one can trust to appearance, so has he. He is quite aware, with a tickling inward amusement, that he had been weighed in the balance against a drunken cook, but he feels no resentment. It is impossible since they have probably a long spell of each other's in undiluted company ahead of them, that they can content themselves with a reciprocal silent appraising. They must find a topic of conversation, but in their absolute ignorance of each other, an ignorance which extends even to their very names, what can it be? With the superior witness, Althea gives him a chance to introduce himself. You will excuse my asking, but are you by any chance the editor of the Firebrand? They seem fated to re-echo each other's utterance. The editor of the Firebrand? Well, no, I am not. In answering he has, or seemed to have, flushed slightly, a transient heat of complexion which in a moment fades into a smile, but which tells her that her heat. May I ask you in return why you thought I was? My reason was a ridiculous, inadequate one. The flush is hers now. You said that you had a message to leave for Miss Patson, and before she went out, she said she hoped the person we are speaking of would not call in her absence. So I put two and two together. When one does that, my experience is that they almost always make five. They evidently have in this case. He seems glad of an excuse to laugh, a laugh which takes him helplessly like a cough at interval throughout the following hour, and which he vain tries to explain away. She endeavors with equal futility to palliate her mistake. I need not to tell you that I have never seen that person. I do not even know his name. Miss Bateson always speaks of him by a sobriquet. Yes, I know she does. His eyes rest on the typewriter, and then flash back for an instant to Althea's hatless head, drawing the obvious induction from both. You are staying with Miss Patson? I'm living with her. Oh, indeed, It is clear that he's trying to keep his words politely, colorless, but interested enlightenment will pierce through their natural eon tint, so much so that Althea cannot forbear putting a question in return. Did you know my predecessor, Miss Lewis? Again, that recurrent helpless laugh seems inclined to master him, but instead he masters it. Or rather, says perhaps in a tone too jocular, I beg your pardon, yes, I did know that lady. Miss Vane turns it over her mind whether it will be strictly honorable to the absent to ask this young man what a forerunner whose light had evidently gone out in darkness, and about whom Faustina maintains for the most part a reticence divined to be the hostile was like. She decides that it will not. I not only knew Miss Lewis, but her predecessor. I did not know another this one. Oh, yes, more than one. Althea starts slightly. She feels as if a sharp pebble had hit her smile, but unexpected, it takes her a moment or two to recover. You are evidently an old acquaintance of Miss Bateson. Very old. I have known her since I was in petticoats. Has she never mentioned me to you? Very old. I have known her since I was in petticoats. Has she never mentioned me to you? Of course, of course. May I give you my card? It is a nice and difficult feat in the lesser manners to inform yourself as to a person under his or her very nose, but Althea thought it makes her feel shy, does it gracefully. Oh, you are this dude. Sean Drake. The tie, the card, the coat. The mustache. I need what? Two more? There we go. Mr. John Drake appears to be about 24 years old and claims to be an old acquaintance of Miss Bateson. He also seems to know Miss Lewis quite well. From the looks of him, it seems that at some point in his life he lost the luxuries he had previously enjoyed in his life. God damn. But only 24 years. Jesus Christ. He looks like older. The fuck? It's only younger people in this place. At least I found everything. I think I only missed was on that the mother, but because of that bug that happened. Thank you. Laying down the card on the table beside her, her conscience enriched by the knowledge that she is in the common Mr. John Drake. My name is Althea Vane. This is good as far as it goes, but at first it does not seem going to take them much further. In her world, Althea has met Drake's, and since her first impression that he belongs to the same world as herself has now grown to conviction, he has no doubt come across Vane's there. But how he may be related to her Drake's is as obscure to her as what affinity she may have to his Vane's is to him. After a moment she begins with delicate subtlety that yet looks simple to explore further. You have a West Country sound. Yes, I come from Devonshire. So does Miss Bateson, one always smiling, as the silly notion that two people who inhabit the same country of continent must live shacked by jaws. That is exactly how we did live. Miss Bateson is the daughter of one of our nearest neighbors. Oh. The oh is thoughtful, lengthened, and expressed enlightenment. If her vis-a-vis with his high-nosed and faultless utterance differs strangely from such a Faustinus man friends as have he heard met Althea's high and here, friends whose speech is either heavily bebrogued or gives that supremacy which it has lately gained among the masses to the vowel. The explanation lies in the fact of their having sported together in childhood among the Devonshire flowers. The thought had suddenly crossed her mind, instantly and remorsefully chased away from its unnervableness, that is too much like a gentleman to be an intimate of Faustinus. Then you know her family? Oh yes, of course. They are, I believe, not all worthy of her? Has she told you so? No, oh no, certainly not. She will not condescend to say anything in detraction of them beyond. He waits politely, expectant, but not helping her to a word, as he might so easily do. She has to set off upon a remodeled sentence. I gathered it from the fact of her having had to leave home through her faithfulness to her convictions, if the species of persecution to which she was exposed. Persecution? Yes, persecution, formally. He looks upon the floor, and once again she has reason to suspect that he is struggling with a love. They certainly did not hit off particularly well. The entire lack of fervor in this utterance brings the blood to her face. As far as I have heard, light and darkness never have hit off particularly well since the world began. He lifts his downcast orbs and looks at her with pleased gravity. Miss Bateson and I are companions in iniquity, he says deliberately. If her family are not worthy of her, neither are mine of me. She glances at him with a quickened interest. It hurt to his outside advantage have done him rather disservice than otherwise with her, as proclaiming him to belong to that regime which she has renounced. Do you mean... I mean... The ting of the electric bell breaks into his answer. Faustina has returned. Mr. Drake. Mr. Drake. So something related to this guy, huh? It is Mr. Drake. Oh, Mr. Drake. So basically they know, but they like saying about the family of Faustina is like she not worthy. I know she said that in the beginning, but like it's like saying no a different way. The collapse of her cook has been explained to Miss Bates and has been received with that philosophic indifference by which she is wont to baffle the lesser blows of fate. She is no loss. Until I find another, we can turn into a ABC, says in reference to what the fuck? A bread company, a very cheap tea room, and one of the few public places where women could eat alone or with friends without a male companion. For food, it is not if blessing for me, addressing the man, that Althea does not care a straw what she eats. Althea's spirit is not yet so chastened as to escape a slight prick of indignation at hearing her Christian name thus made free with to a perfect stranger. and partially to conceal an irritation of which she is ashamed, partly out of delicacy. She leaves the two friends together. What the fuck? Hey! Wait, what the? Okay. What the fuck? Heater? Tools to cooking a light to fire and allow it to grow until the logs are burned. Waiting for it to catch fire, said. What? I was confusing myself. The man leaning his shoulder against the chimney piece gives utterance to the sentence above quoted. So that is the new enthusiasm, is it? If you choose to put it so, realize that in this case he is talking about his relationship with Althea. It is a more comprehensible ardor than the last, but if you will excuse my putting it so, she does not look cut quite on our pattern. With a withering glance at the elegance of his thought ensemble. Yes, ours. I suppose I may be allowed to have given proofs of my right of citizenship, even thought a few old clothes survived from my unregenerated state. Are you determined never to take me to your heart until I am dressed wholly from a slop shop? His tone is one of careless intimacy, slightly touched with an inoffensive impertinence. It looks like the fire is out. I should have opened the air vent. The air vent. What is the air vent? Smoke control tools, the cooking area final to grow. Okay. However much outside may be. Wait, however much outside may believe her, she. What? I am far from objecting to it. She's one of us. Is she? She's prepared to go as far as anybody. She's very keen about the vote, perfectly sound upon the marriage question, and her opinion of masculinity is, if possible, lower than mine. He receives this last thrust with perfect equanimity. She's very valuable acquisition, and how long do you think she will last? Last? Yes, how long before she follows poor Lewis to limbo? The question is provocative one, but Faustina Temp is nearly, if not quite, up to the level of her nerves and her digestion. She asked me that question herself this very day. And what did you answer? It is not the least consequence what I answer. He stands thoughtful. It looks like the fire is out. I should have opened the air vent. What the fuck is the air vent, man? What the fuck is the air vent? Choose the cooking area, light the fire and allow it to grow until the logs allow it to grow. Wait, until the logs allow it to grow until the logs start to burn. Use smoke control to divert the heat from the chimney. Connection. Okay, but what the fuck do you do that? Okay. What? That was weird how all that worked. Prepare a potato omelette. Okay. Add oil and click on the ingredients that take the longest to cook. First so that they do not remain raw. Then wait about 5 minutes by clicking on the timer. Okay. I click on the timer to add the rest of the ingredients. If you make a mistake, you can start by clicking on the bowl and fork. Okay, so oil. There's salt. Alright, oil. Prepare add oil. Okay. Now the ones that take longer. Probably want to put some salt. I don't know what else is this. This has to be the potatoes. And now we wait. In that direction, you mean to utilizer, she does not look like much like a hewed of wood or drawer of water. It is very kind of you to be so much interested about her, but do not disquiet yourself. She will find her proper sphere. What is her history? How did you get hold of her? Is she an isolated fact? And if not, how did their relations allow you to spirit her away? It was no case of spiriting. She has broken with her family deliberately for the sake of her opinions. Like you. Same laugh as that puzzled Althea in his voice. Faustina apparently did not notice it, unless to the tartness of her response. Like you too, only that her vocation is a much more genuine one than yours. Thank you. Not that you, relenting. I have not given some good proofs of your sincerity. Thank you. Not this same. Thank you. I'm growing so surfeit with switch that I think I shall wish you good evening. Apparently they understand each other, for she lets him go without remonstrance. Did I fail? Oh, did I do it correctly? Look at that, it looks delicious. Faustina was surprised to see the splendid Spanish omelette. Without eggs, though, it could not really be an omelette. No! Wait, you need to put... It said that to put the rest. It said to put the rest. Ah, boo! What the fuck? It said that you could put the rest. Like, the potatoes take more, right? That same night, Althea asked Faustina. What is the editor of Firebrand like? Asked Althea that same evening, apparently a purpose of nothing. Both are on the armchair in front of the fire. Faustina is wearing, as usual, as she seems not to want to wear any other garment, because of the feeling of freedom it gives her, a cotton chemisette with Turkish leggings, imitating the old petticoats. Like, how do you mean? Is he proposing his appearance? This one. Is he proposing in appearance? Proposing? Good lord, no. Why should he be? He's a man of the people, and he looks it. Why do you ask? You have mentioned him so often that I thought it would be as well to have some idea of his appearance, in case he called when you were out, replies Miss Vane, not quite candidly. Then your visitor of today, a slight slowness in bringing out the query, is evidently not a worker? You look at a preposterous dandy, replies Miss Bateson, with a scorn that yet sounds lenient. But then, as you know, the habits of a lifetime are not shaken off in a day, and it's Sunday, isn't it? Oh yes, the bells here in law never give one a chance of forgetting that fact. But despite his silly fopperies, there is a stuff, yes, real stuff in John Drake. Real stuff? What you mean? By chucking £20,000 a year. Althea's eyes are alight with calming admiration. His father owns a chemical factory in the East End, and when John found the poisonous conditions under which the hands spent their lives, he refused to touch a penny of money wrung from the wretchedness of hundreds of his fellow creatures. And as his father entirely declined to listen to any suggestions for bettering those conditions, he threw up the whole thing. Whole Trecothic has since absolutely disinherited him. Trecothic? I thought his name was Drake. His mother was a Drake, and the whole sweater was so pleased at having married into one of the best Devonshire families that he took her name. 20,000 a year, repeats Althea in an awed voice. How magnificent! And what injustice one does people. Do not fall into the other extreme, dearest, and make a hero of him. He's still better off than 5,000-6,000 sixties of human race. His mother money, she died when he was a child, came to him. But he gave up money, thousands. Yes, he did, and I'm sure I have no wish to minimize the sacrifice. I only wanted to guard you against your generous tendency to idealize, a tendency by which I have so magnificently profited. He hinted at some vital difference of opinion with his family, but I never dreamed. What did he tell you? In what connection did he introduce the subject? Talking of you. Of me, they thought sharply. He was saying that he had been wronged by his family in the same way as you had been by yours. Faustina's cheekbones take on for a second dim dark flush. Did he tell you anything more about me? He said that you were the daughter of one of his nearest neighbors. The flush pales into a relieved, dry smile. That was a euphemism. I am the daughter of old Tecofic's bailiff, none of your gentlemen bailiffs, a common working farmer. She's lying, for sure. I wonder that John Drake has not known me long enough to know that I glory in the class from which I spring. If I were not working woman by necessity, I should certainly be one by choice. Althea acknowledged this noble sentiment by an appreciative look, but that her thoughts are still rather with the absent hero that the present heroine is made by playing by her next words. Has he any profession? I believe you suppose that he hung by about the law courts, but his real work is in connection with the settlement down at Canning Town. He lives there for months at a time, organizing meetings, giving lectures, and so forth. Appearance are deceitful, says Althea with soft thoughtfulness. It does not look like it. Probably thinks that you do not look like it either. The topic drops, but it gives Althea a new feeling towards the subject of it when next he appears on her horizon. Is it getting very late? Where are you going to sleep, Althea? Sleeping with you. She's like, hello. Okay, we save. What an audacity, Faustina says between laughs. Yes, I was going to invite you to sleep in my bed. Will you sleep with me then? I don't want to disturb you. I prefer to sleep on the couch. No. What the hell? Why sleep on the couch? Faustina gets up and goes to her room. If you don't mind, my dear, put out the fire and I will prepare the room. Wow, why couldn't she put out the fire at the same time? Throw water. Whoosh. There we go. All's ready, Althea places it inside bed with Faustina finished placing an infinite number of documents that previously rested on the bed. I do not usually put many blankets on the bed. Usually the sheets are so hot that I usually sleep naked. Althea opens her eyes with surprise. She had always avoided seeing her own naked body, so she could not help saying, "Do you sleep like an animal?" Althea immediately blushed at the question she had asked herself, although perhaps it had more to do with her imagination than unleashed. She had imagined Miss Patson naked, taking as reference to great classic paintings she had seen during her drawing studies. The church has imposed its thinking on all aspects of life. Either you are a woman or have to be a man, or you are pure or impure, or you are good or you are bad, and the woman has always been like the bad one. I will not let you also impose that my body is a sin only by its mere existence. However, do not fear, I will not think of doing anything. It's indecent unless you ask me to. Althea cannot stop thinking about the meaning of those last words unless you ask me as Faustina gets into bed. If you are not going to the toilet, can you please turn off the lights? Althea cannot stop thinking about the meaning of those last words. Again. Good night, Faustina wishes you when she gets into bed. Good night, replies Althea as she closes her eyes with firm intention of sleeping despite the sounds of a busy street, neighbors, and the pipe sounds to which she seems to have become accustomed as her body quickly gives way to sleep. What do you mean by unless you ask me? She asks as she looks at the beautiful silhouette of her face accentuated by the light from the window. Faustina turns to look at her in the eyes. What do you mean? What do you want me to say? Asks Faustina in a whisper. I wish I could caress your body. Oh shit, you can't do that. For YouTube, you can't go for that. Do you mean sleep naked? If it's more comfortable for you, I'll not want to be an inconvenience. Like, in here for sure it will go and that will be blocked immediately, so if you want to see that, you can, but you can't record. I need to go for this one. Do you mean sleep naked? If it's more comfortable for you, I'll not want to be an inconvenience. Okay, so I went to the side where they both. You could go like okay, say that to have love with Faustina, or you could choose to not have love. But there is naked pictures in there, and you can't show that on YouTube. So I had to cut that, and I didn't know if in this new one, this chapter that is the bottlers, if it will laugh, so I had to advance a little bit on the story because again I didn't knew about it, so unfortunately there's a little bit of cut. But basically what I did was Althea and Faustina had love with each other, and then it starts a new chapter, the bottlers, and Eliza the maid wakes up and sees the letter that she got like fired, and now Althea is in the street and she's Eliza over here, so she's gonna approach her. As she approaches, it becomes clear that she has been crying for a long time. I'm going to the. Will it be about if I stay and watch the river with you? Affection, okay. Eliza is startled and although stumbling, rushed to apologize. Oh, miss, I'm so sorry. I try to calm down, Eliza, so you can tell me what happened. I apologize, Eliza, for I see that you apologize sincere. This one probably. I thank you very much, she says as she takes a breath and looks at the river again. Yes, I left here before the sun came up, so soon that I did not even have breakfast. To return to work as soon as possible, I was in my way to the publisher where I planned to publish my novella. I had heard that a black woman had published a book under pseudonym in this publisher, however, she says as she takes a breath and stops, perhaps to hold back tears. I had already assumed that I would have to wear a male pseudonym. I would like to appear as an Indian author so that others like me will know that it's possible. But I could hardly take even 3 steps in the publishing company. I digress that I should not be there. When I told them what my intentions were, they laughed and said that they could not publish someone like me. I'm sorry that I had to live through such an injustice. I'm sorry that I had to live. What? I think over here it should be you, right? I'm sorry that you had to live through such an injustice, right? Hmm. Elias is silent for a moment. Quantity major confiance. They did not even take the time to look at it. I wish that if they did not like my manuscript, they would have told me which parts will have to be corrected. I think you can find help if you go to one of the women's clubs, some of which aim to help young women writers. She laughs bitterly. In the work I have there is no time for tea parties in clubs, and besides, I have seen who goes to these clubs. They are white women with purchasing power. They think that if they have time to reflect and write, it is because someone already does the housework for them. In these clubs, someone as poor and black as me will not be welcome. Althea is paralyzed and never having realized that such a reality was happening around her on the few occasions she has attended a women's club, feeling that she had made a mistake that had left her in a bad place. Althea breaks the silence by trying to redirect the conversation. I'm sure you can find other posts, there are many posts. I'm gonna say this one. I could ask my acquaintance and try to find more publishers. As much as I'm grateful for such a favor, I dare say that I do not need anyone to save me. I will certainly try more publishers. I will not give up so easily. If Toru the Swarna Kumari or other Indian woman could publish here, I have to be able to do it. There is silence that Elias takes advantage of to resume the story. When I left the publishing house, amidst tears of shame and anger, I went back home to prepare breakfast for them. I had not had breakfast yet, and when I saw the alcohol I used in the kitchen for cooking, and I wanted to forget everything. She says, getting excited, although she quickly regains her composure, with the intention of finishing. Finally, the only thing I have achieved is to make things worse. I'm very sorry. Maybe I should learn to live without so many aspirations, thanking God that I have a warm place to sleep. Eliza stops leaning on the wall that separates her from the mighty river and looks up to contemplate the house. I should go back to work. I cannot find the words to thank you for the time you have given me. Thank you very much. Without any more words, Eliza crossed the road with her face still ashamed and her cookbook still in Althea's arms. Althea watched her cross the street, reflect on her words, and before she too enters the building, she looks at the river to go thoughtfully. When Althea enters the house, Faustina welcomes her with a smile. Good morning, Althea, says Faustina with a slight smile. How did you sleep last night? She's like, you know how I sleep? Fine, I guess. I think I need some time to sort out my thoughts before we talk about it. Since Althea looked at the flower with a scarlet tainted face, Faustina looked at her understanding. It was incredible, I have no word. I would like to have some time to be able to think about what happened. But at the same time, she paused to order her thoughts, or perhaps to dare to say the following. I would like to repeat it tonight. I would like to repeat it every night. They both smiled and thought, of course, do this one. I think I like that too. We had better talk about it tonight. Good morning, Althea. You are not... Wait, what? Good morning, Althea. You are not upset about last night, are you? I did not want to bother you. Now that others need to anything. What? That was weird. What the hell? That was a weird one. Again, what the fuck is this? Faustina approaches her and gives her a loving kiss on the forehead and completely comforts them. I am sorry you could not sleep in your bed. We have to get a new maid. I shall talk to the... What? I didn't unlock that one. This book, do not worry, I'll give it to her. Darling, says Faustina, as she sits at her desk. Did not you tell me that you wished to visit your family? Will not today be a good opportunity? I could spare you better today than most days, because I have a person coming to speak to me on business in the afternoon. Hey. Business that I'm not to hear, replies Althea with affectionate playfulness at the pursuit of idea. Okay. Althea says in a tender tone. Well, I do not know whether they will care to see me, but I shall be very, very glad to see them again. Faustina turns away, having summoned up an expression of suffering to her strong face. You need not be jealous, says the odd, laying a reassuring hand upon her companion's shoulder. Fondly, I love them. I still think I have chosen the better part. Now I'm gonna say this one. I chose the better part. Faustina nods and offers a confident smile. Before leaving the house, Althea stops for a few moments to contemplate her reflection in the humble mirror, clearly bought second-hand, that Faustina had just hung up. The image that the glass reflects back at her is a totally different one from the one she saw a couple of years ago. She is obviously much more grown up now, but she also noticed the absence of the jewelry she used to wear, the missing white gloves that were once omnipresent, and the lack of the heavy makeup that, like her sister, she always wore. You don't need makeup. Whoa, us. There we go. Oh, now it's in Spanish. It's in Spanish. Althea Van is la hija mediana de los hermanos y hermanas. Now it's in Spanish. Now it went into Spanish over there. Okay, so I'm gonna stop here. I hope you guys enjoy gameplay of the Althea. It's a cool game. Yes, there is a lot of bugs, some translation that still needs to be going English. Like I saw one in Italian, one in this one now in Spanish, and then there's a lot of bugs. Sometimes it appears a face that you never met that person. It's appearing instead of Faustina. Sometimes the name of Faustina appears Faustinia. You know, there's some bugs that needs to be ironed out and fixed, but it's like, it's a cool game. I like the art style of the visual, you know, of this art. It's like, instead of being like it's like hand-drawn painting, you know, it's an interesting one. And then the choice, like what you go for, it can unlock other ones, you know, things like that. That's a cool thing that can happen. Unfortunately, there was that sex scene that you didn't saw that part. I tried to go away from it, but unfortunately it was appearing naked. They were going to get naked, and you can't show that on YouTube, because if not you get the axe. So yeah, I couldn't show what happened after, but I chose for them to have love, and I had to cut that part only to show what happened after. But they say that you can avoid that, and you could see that I could avoid. I could say, oh, let us go only to sleep, but I wanted to see what you could go, you know, a little bit further. But unfortunately that happened. It is what it is. But it's a cool game. But I think it's like, you can buy it right now. It's already available. Like, it's close to 10 euros. It's 9 euros and something. But I will say at the same time, like, wait for some patch to fix some issues that the game has, like in terms of like some misspelling. Sometimes they are saying she and it appears here. Some of the puzzles are not very well explained, like the which one was that one? The put T. That was complex as fuck. Thank God there was the skip button to do it. Thank God. The make full I didn't understand very well because it's a put the longer ones and then put the ones that and wait 5 minutes and then you put the ones that are fast, that is the X, and it didn't work like that, so it was weird how it worked. So yeah, and then some misspelling here and there, so there's stuff that they need to fix and there's a lot of bugs here and there, but overall it's like a good game but needs a lot of patch to fix the issues that there is. But yeah, but it's like I like what is happening. I like the choice. Like I say, the best part of the game is the art style, the choice that you have, the story that is happening between your character. You could go with Claire and William, right? That couple of your family, or you could go with Faustina. I think the best choice is always Faustina. Let's be honest. And then the things that you can say, things like that. It's always nice. It's a little bit annoying is the bugs that happen. Like the bad part of the game is the bugs that exist on the game, and it's a lot of them, and that will hurt, in my opinion, the game. For some people, it can hurt a lot. So it's a mixed bag, It has a lot of good stuff, but then the misspelling, the bugs and that stuff hurt a lot at the same time the game, and they are a lot. They appear a lot. If it was like, oh, it appeared one over here and then like after 1 hour appear another bug, okay, but it's like everywhere, like sometimes repeating the same dialogue that you already saw, and then it appears a choice that's not even about that dialogue that appeared. It's like, what the hell did they say? What the fuck did they say over there? And you need to guess. You need to say what is better, right? So, yeah. Yeah. Like like tomorrow's supposed to come out some games, but I don't know what hour they come. If they come a little bit late, probably I will play more because I like what I was playing. So, but yeah. So probably tomorrow, if the other games that come out tomorrow come a little bit late, I probably play more Dear Althea because it's a cool story. Hopefully there is another patch to fix more of these bugs. But yeah, so I'm gonna have to edit the video because of that part, and then join this part with the other one. So you're gonna see an edited part in there, and probably some missing dialogue here and there because of the beginning of this chapter. I didn't know if they will be naked or not. So it is what it is. So hope you guys enjoy your gameplay of the Althea, and see you guys next time. Bye.